Unabated.
In cooperation with the National Association of Retail Druggists, the Cavalcade of Stars. Starring Jackie Green.
Andrews.
And now here he is, the star of our show, Jackie Green.
Andrews. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome in. Thank you for tolerating that. That's my my amateur Adobe Premiere skills at work right there. This is going to be a fun night. We have over 3 hours of bettors, bookies, podcasters, pundits, media, mentors. We've got it all. And we've got a lot of people to work through here. Everyone that comes in the door here is going to give us a pick. They're going to give us a pick on the side and total or money line of tomorrow's game. And they're going to give us a prop play that they like. And look, we're less than a day away from this game. Don't be watching this live stream just for the picks. Watch it for the personalities. And last year, the plays on the sides and totals went 18, 7, and 1. Not bad. It was a heavy Rams crowd last year. The prop plays went 13 and 13. But the average implied probability was south of 45%. So in a way, they still did pretty well. But hey, enough about me. Let's get started. I'm going to kick it off by the guy in the lower left-hand corner there, Rufus Peabody, my business partner. Rufus is in the car in Arizona, firing away bets on some of the apps that he can't get in Nevada. Hey, Rufus, how's it going tonight?
Good. Me and Zach are here just getting down. And we're outside a truck stop in the middle of nowhere in Arizona, about 25 miles in.
Nice.
First place with cell reception where you can pull over. So
does that mean I get picks from Zach White as well?
Hold on. FanDuel's giving me a reality check. I've wagered $45,000 in the last 30 minutes. Am I sure I want to continue?
Well, why not? You only got down 5% of what you wanted to get down there.
Well, not at FanDuel.
When the fun stops.
I don't know. Zach, are you going to give us a pick too? Yeah. Okay. I'll go first. I'm going to take.
You go. Kick us off.
I'm going to take game not to be tied after 0-0 at plus 110. I mean, I would just bet it at DraftKings at plus 110. I think I would take it at even money too. I think I priced it out as the no minus 119. And it's probably a little bit better than that too, just given the fact that that isn't fully taking into account the differences since the longer extra point. I think the old shorter extra point is baked in there a little bit still. So you're going to obviously having those longer extra points means a tie after, 2 touchdowns by each team is less likely. So that's the prop I'm going to give.
Was that plus 110 you said?
Plus 110. I've seen plus 110s and even money's out there.
Okay. All right.
I would take it even money at the worst, basically.
Okay. Zach.
You can hold it.
Hey, Zach. Thank you for joining us.
A game prop out there too. What's up? We're not picking the game or no?
You can. No, you're going to pick the game as well. But we'll get your prop play first. That's fine.
I like more points in the first half, plus 1.5 at anything even money or better. It's pretty widely available.
Okay. So first half, 4 points, second half at even money or better. Okay. And all right, let's get your.
Easy. You'll get plus 0.5 or plus 1.5 on the handicap there.
Oh, okay.
Like the anti-Steve Fezzik bet.
Yes, and unfortunately Fezzik won't be joining us tonight. But let's get your plays on the side or total.
I don't really have a play on the side, but I guess do I have to give one out?
Yes.
I'm gonna take Chiefs then.
Okay. On the what?
That's more because I win more money if the Chiefs win. Rather than what I think is going to happen.
I too would like the Chiefs.
I think it's literally a coin flip, though.
Are we doing money line here, boys?
Sure.
All right.
Let's go.
Just know that I'm not actually betting this for the viewers. I'm being
that's
forced
fine.
to make a pick.
That's fine. Hey, listen, you guys hang out there for a little while,
Okay.
if you can. We got some other people in the room here, including the legendary Roxy Roxborough, looking dapper as always. Roxy, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I am. This isn't exactly picking NFL games isn't exactly something I do, but I've come out of retirement for this. I want to preface it with my best Super Bowl ever was 1979, and that was Super Bowl 13. And I had a position on whether the game would fall 4 or 3. And I really didn't have a decision either way. So I went out and did some angel dust with some hot-looking girl on Lake Mead. And it's the only of the 57 games to see Super Bowl. It's the only one I've never seen.
Did it land 3 or 4?
It landed 4 because the Steelers beat the Cowboys 35-31.
And how did it go with the girl?
She got most of that money.
Oh, that's great, Roxy. Hey, Roxy, you gotta play for us here.
Well, I like the Chiefs. Now, if I take the Chiefs minus 3.5, does that count as a pick on the side, or does that count as a pick? Is that a prop?
Roxy, you can do whatever you damn well please around here. You know that.
Okay.
I would call that a derivative, probably more towards a prop. But
okay. I'll give you Chiefs. I'll give you Chiefs minus 3.5 plus 170, which was at the Superbook just a few minutes ago. But now the Superbook has gone to pick. The one thing that's interesting in Las Vegas, they don't have the ability to move the alternate spreads along with the game spread. They don't have the technology to do it. Now you bet offshore, they more or less they move in crescendo when they want them to. So sometimes some stuff gets stuck up there a little longer than it should. That's my opinion. And also minus 190 plus 170 isn't much of a take anyway. So I think it's pretty easy to get a positive expectation sometimes on the alternate point spreads.
Okay.
And then on the total, I don't know. Most people like the Chiefs like over, but I like the game under.
Game
I
under?
think Philadelphia is going to have the ball a lot in the game, and I think that'll hold it under.
What do you got on that? 51 is the line you?
51's a consensus line, so that's the line. Isn't that what everybody has? I believe it's a consensus line right now.
I think that's consensus right now, yeah.
Yeah. And, the Chiefs look like – I'll just add one more thing before you go on to these other plays. This sort of looked like if the Chiefs had beaten the Bengals by 10 points and Mahomes or the other players hadn't got hurt, they would have been 3-point favorites in this game. I thought there was just a little bit of a reaction to push Philly up so fast because you can only play the teams that you get to play, but they really had this gravy train easy ride playing the Giants, who were not only the worst team in the playoffs, they probably weren't in the top 18 teams in the league. And then to get to play a team that doesn't have a quarterback. So for me, it's really hard to gauge the Eagles off those two performances because they were almost gimmies. And but it looks like the Chiefs might close the favorite now.
Yeah, no, it's definitely been moving in the past 24 hours. We'll see where it goes. Obviously, the move across the zero is not going to be worth a whole lot, so it could very well happen. Roxy, where are you taking in the game tomorrow?
I am watching the first quarter at a private party at Piero's, and then I will be home because my wife cooks all day long, and it's the best meal I eat all day. Not all year, excuse me. It's the best meal I eat all year. And also, I'm not much for watching TV for sports anyway, and then watching one with a bunch of, like 1,000 people. I get that's why it's fun, but it's not my idea of fun.
I totally agree with that. I'm watching at home tomorrow as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know who else is probably watching tomorrow is Elihu Foystel. Welcome in. He's on his phone. His webcam was not working, but he went to the backup and came in on his phone. Thank you for joining us, Elihu.
Thank you.
Do you have a play for us?
On this, I believe the market is efficient. I would not touch the spread or the total.
But you got to, come on, you got to give us something.
If you're going to make me play something, I'm going to take the Chiefs plus 7.5 minus 241, which is a one-team teaser out of a two-teamer at even money. But I would not lay 110 on it because when you got these high totals, the capture rate drops a bit.
You guys are killing me with these alt spreads. I hope you used Unabated to figure those numbers out.
We're here to make money, aren't we?
That's true. That's true. Let me bring up the sheet here because we've been filling it out as people have been talking. We'll have these up all night long during the stream. You can kind of reference what we got going on so far. Elihu, do you have a prop play for us?
I got 3 for us. If I can give you 3, is that too many?
Well, your first one's going to be the one of record, but you can give all 3.
All right. The first one will be, will there be a score in the first 6 minutes and 30 seconds? I'll take the yes at minus 114. That's at bookmaker right now.
Yes at minus 114, you said, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
I make the fair price minus 128.
Okay. Look at that. What are the other 2, just for shits and giggles?
If it's 128, I go as high as about 117.
Oh, no. I mean, what are your other 2 plays for props?
Oh, other 2 plays. Will the Chiefs' first score be a touchdown? I'll take yes, touchdown at minus 165. I make it fair about minus 185. And then for people like Rufus who have too much money left over that's not in play on game day, will the game be won by exactly 7 points? I'll take the no at minus 792. A fair price is minus 900 about. But those are those bridge jumpers that are great to play and at the end of the day. But just make sure you're not all in on one thing. You know, it's easy to get a bunch of correlated bets. So you bet under, and the game skyrockets over and you lose all these plays. So
absolutely. They're good to kind of soak up some of the remaining balance you have in your accounts. That's for sure. Hey, Roxy, I got a quick question for you while you're still here. You were on the scene when Jimmy Vaccaro put up the William the Refrigerator Perry prop.
Yeah.
You were on the scene as Art Manteris built the prop market. Jay Kornegay exploded the prop market. Did you ever think it would come to this where they're saying now 90% of the handle is going to be on props on this game? Did you ever foresee this would be the way the Super Bowl gets played nowadays?
No. Well, there are a couple of reasons. I might have underestimated what people liked on props. And as Rufus will tell you, we didn't do a very good job at making them. So we didn't know how to hammer them out that well. We should have opened them to guys like Rufus and got them in line. So they weren't they were only profitable if we won the game. And I think a lot of people know about the correlations between you bet a lot of props and if the game goes under, you win them all. If the game goes over, you might lose them all. Well, that more or less was the way it was working with us. We didn't really know how to manage our liability. So if we won the game, we were going to win the props. If we lost the game, we were going to lose the props. So we got smarter over the years. And then after I left the business, guys like Abello and Cornegay did a lot better job. And then Rufus smoothed them out. Now I hear guys running around trying to get 20 cents the best of it on a prop. I mean, you used to be looking for like $1.50 the best of it. Also, I underestimated, we had a technology issue. And if you look around the country today, you know, most of the business in parlays. And that's one thing that I guess we were worried too much about the liability and the same game parlays. We don't have the technology to do it. I don't care how you stand on it, but I mean, people want to bet that way. You just have to let them bet that way.
Sure. I mean, a fool and his money, right?
Yeah.
That's great insight. Matt Friedman he was actually the first person onto the stream. He beat me into the live stream room. Matt, sorry, I took a few more minutes then to get to you. Matt does a lot of great work over at Fantasy Pros. And Matt, will you give us some insight into what you like?
Yeah, well, I mean, embarrassing to be the first at the party. I was just so anxious to be able to get here because, like, we've got a great group of people assembled for the live stream. So, even though I'm only going to be on it for a short time, I'm going to be watching it after I jump off of the live stream. Yeah, the side that I'm leaning towards, not leaning, I bet it Chiefs -1.5. I have it projected. Sorry, Chiefs +1.5. I've projected at -1.5. So a little bit of value there, but we're all in the general pick'em range. But it's a Super Bowl, 1 game left of the season. I'm going to be betting it. And part of it, I second what Roxy said earlier. The idea that this line is something of an overreaction early on because of the injuries that we saw to the Chiefs in the conference championship game. But all of those wide receivers, with the exception of McCole Hardman, are healthy, and Hardman has been out for half of the season anyway. So he doesn't really mean much to that offense, and all of the other guys are healthy. Patrick Mahomes has been practicing in full for 3 weeks. I mean, I'm sure he's not entirely healthy, but I think he's healthier than Jalen Hurts, who, since he's returned from that shoulder injury, hasn't looked nearly like himself. Not to say that Hurts is all that great of a passer to begin with, but he was passing with efficiency earlier in the season, but his average depth of target has dropped since he's returned, and his efficiency passing deep has dropped off of the map since he returned from injury. So I think it's just a situation of the Chiefs, even though I would say if you look at their roster 2-52, they probably don't stack up as well. At head coach, I think they have the edge, and at quarterback, I think they have the edge, and that gives them, in my projections, enough weight to push them to being favorites. So I have bet it Chiefs -1.5.
You bet.
+1.5.
Yep.
1.5. I haven't projected a 1.5. -1.5.
Don't want to cheap you out of a couple points there.
Yeah.
That was probably the best analysis, soup to nuts, that we've heard so far on the stream. Very good. Hit us with a prop play.
Okay, well, not really a prop. The future Super Bowl MVP market, I'm going to go Galaxy Brain on this. Okay, you're going to get a lot of really good props. I love betting props, so I have a lot of traditional ones as well. But the one I'm going to give, Harrison Butker, Super Bowl MVP, 350 to 1 at PointsBet. And let me explain the Galaxy Brain take on this. I think that in general, the Chiefs are undervalued in this market. So I lean more towards the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are going to win. I think if they win, there's a 90% chance that it is Patrick Mahomes as the Super Bowl MVP, just based on the way that the Chiefs operate. But there is a scenario where, let's say we have 2 injured quarterbacks in this game. Right. And we do. We have 2 injured quarterbacks, and we have 2 defenses that are pretty good at getting after the quarterback. The Eagles, number 1 in the league in sacks this past year. The Chiefs were number 2 with 55 sacks. So I think we could have more of a defensive game than people might expect. And maybe these 2 quarterbacks underwhelm a little bit. On top of that, Andy Reid can be somewhat conservative in his play calling. So I could see a situation where Harrison Butker has 3, maybe more field goals in a relatively low scoring game. Butker's got the leg, and Andy Reid has the trust in him to let him attempt 50-yard field goals. So let's say a couple of these are 50-yarders and one of them is a game winner. If that happens, we're in a scenario where Butker is very live to win MVP, because outside of Chris Jones, there isn't a defensive standout for the Chiefs. So if this is more of a situation of the Eagles underwhelming on offense versus the Chiefs having one defensive player just take over the game, then I think the MVP market could just be up in the air. And so, yeah, I don't think it's not probable, very much not probable that this happens. But I think the odds should be more like 250 to 1 instead of 350 to 1. So at PointsBet 350 to 1, I think there is some value.
A whole lot is clicking for Jack and Rufus right now, because I've been talking about this prop all week too, Matt.
I'm sorry, guys. It's my bad influence.
Jack,
Jack,
I'm gonna say goodbye. I'm gonna duck out. I got some places to go tonight. I just want to show you this thing. This is was in the Stardust Racing Sportsbook when they closed. And they gave it to me. It's Thanks for the Memories, Stardust 1958 to 2006.
Oh, wow. That is, I
So,
tried to get you on screen there, but I put myself up too large.
one of my prized possessions, but it takes up a lot of room.
That looks
There you
great.
go. There you
That's
go.
amazing.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay,
great to
hey,
see you,
good
Roxy.
being on with you guys. Let somebody else in with a real opinion. Bye-bye.
All right. Well, I think Roxy still wins story of the night so far. It's tough to top Angel Dust at Lake Mead.
Did not have that
okay.
on my bingo card.
Yeah. So, hey, Matt, that was excellent analysis. Last year we had someone give Eric Weddle as Super Bowl MVP. Now, this kind of throws off the whole implied probability for our props section, but
Yes.
I'm going to let it fly for now. We got some other people we're going to bring on the screen. So the group that's on here, you guys are welcome to stick around, chat for a few more minutes if you'd like. But we're going to kind of keep the ball rolling here. Got 3.5 hours of this. Let's bring in from Circa Sportsbook. It looks like he might be in the Situation Room. There's Jeff Benson. And from Profit Betting Exchange here in New Jersey, we're going to bring in Jake Benzaquin. And also the guy who I still call the hardest working man in Las Vegas, Patrick Everson, coming in there. And great to have you guys on. We're going to go one by one just to kind of keep it organized. Jeff, give us a rundown of, first of all, what it looks like in Vegas at Circa right now in terms of the general action. And secondly, give us who you like in the game, either a side or a total.
Yeah, it's been fun. Obviously, yesterday and today, the action kind of started to pick up. You know, I think we saw people start to get to town last night. The money's been kind of streaming in last night, early today, and certainly see that across the counter. I was on the line most of the day before coming to my office here. But the busyness has certainly picked up, and I think there's a lot of excitement in the air as people get ready for tomorrow. So for me, when I'm looking at the screen, I like the Kansas City Chiefs to win the game. Obviously, most people in this thread know that we opened Kansas City minus 2.5. That was our opener. Obviously, the market kind of, took a shit on that opener and said it wasn't very good. But within 25 minutes, we were at Eagles minus 2.5, minus 15 before we've seen the market come back a little bit. For me, I think the number is going to close pick. So I would be taking any of the plus 105s out there at BOL or Caesars or DraftKings on the Kansas City Chiefs. I had the Kansas City Chiefs power rated as the best team in football all season. Obviously, my number and our director of risk, we both had Kansas City minus 2.5, which was what our opener was. So I'll take the plus 105 on the money line on the Kansas City Chiefs to win the game.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's a great analysis. Also going to bring in Alex Kane from Sport Trade. He's out and about tonight as well, it looks like. Alex, we'll get to you here in a minute. Jeff, so I saw David Purdom, who's going to be a guest later on tonight. He reported that he thinks he's heard that it's a little bit slower so far this year. Any inclination? Is the betting slower? Is it starting to ramp up now?
In terms of the big bets, we haven't seen as much big bets up to this point in terms of people like wiring in money. But obviously, we got 2 more days to go. Could certainly have some big action walk to the counter. But in terms of like the $1 million, 7-figure bets, that typically get reported, industry wide, I think you've seen a little bit less of that. But I would anticipate that Nevada and obviously the country would break a record handle as it comes to the Super Bowl betting this year.
Supposed to be over $1 billion in legalized markets this year. That'll be interesting. Jeff, hit us with your prop play.
Yeah. So for me, obviously, I think when you look at the data all season long, you got to kind of throw some of that stuff out when you get to the Super Bowl. The situation changes. I think people get more aggressive. When you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, given that they're the underdog currently, there's a good chance they could be in a negative game state. So for me, the prop that I like is will Kansas City convert a 4th down? I think you can find minus 155 out there. There was minus 155 at South Point and minus 155 in a couple other places here in Vegas. My fair number on that was minus 225, which is what we opened. Obviously, the market has come back a little bit on that. and then we've seen a little bit of yes money lately. But yeah, for me, I like Kansas City yes to convert a fourth down at minus 155 or better.
Excellent. Thank you, Jeff. That was, that sounds like a pretty good play as well. Rufus isn't here anymore, so we can't. I was trying to gauge his reaction when he was listening to see if he was nodding or shaking his head. So far, I think he agreed with just about every prop play that's been given. Stick around here, Jeff. We might have some more talk here about what's going on in Vegas right now from the bookmaker side of things. We got Jake Benzaquin in from Profit Exchange. We also have Alex Kane on from Sport Trade Exchange. I guess it's our exchange segment here. I'm very bullish about exchange technologies in the U.S. sports betting market. Obviously, I'm lucky enough to be in New Jersey. I've got both of them as places that I can play at. It's great to get down on things and not have to worry about, are they going to label me as a sharp and possibly limit me? There's just no way that can happen. So it's good to have it. I hope we can start to roll it out nationwide, but enough of me talking about how much I love exchanges. Jake, how is things going at Profit Exchange? This is your first Super Bowl. Is it everything you expected it to be running an exchange for the Super Bowl?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Jack. In terms of everything expected for our first Super Bowl, I would say about so, to be honest. We're having a pretty good couple weeks over here. You can obviously always see the total traded on our sites. We've got about 620,000 right now going. Now, that includes some open wagers, of course, as well. But we really made a big push to add props today, or for Sunday, I should say, which is something that we hopefully can look to leverage moving forward on the exchange as well. It's been busy. It's been hectic. It's been fun. Almost everything I expected, exactly the way I want it.
Nice. Yeah. So both exchanges in New Jersey, for those of you who are not in New Jersey, they offer props. They offer two-way markets on props, and it's pretty incredible. You can, it's not often that we've been able to bet a prop without any risk of that kind of throwing up a flag on your account down the line. So it's been a lot of fun to see what they'd offer and what's out there. Jake, hit us with a play on this game. You have more of a North Jersey slant at Profit. Sport Trade is more of a South Jersey slant. So I wonder if that's going to play into the two plays that come from both you and Alex. But hit us with who's going to side or total on this game.
Yeah, I can definitely say that we'll be on opposite sides on this one because I'm taking Kansas City plus 1.5 here. I can't imagine Alex is going against his Eagles. But as Jeff said, I think they're the better side. I think they are the ones that should be favored. I'm more concerned about Jalen Hurts' health than Patrick Mahomes, in all honesty. I think that they will obviously run him this game because it's the last game of the season. But I think there are some long-term concerns about that shoulder in Philadelphia. And I think we'll see that if they get down early, especially. You didn't see that in the last two playoff games. You didn't see him really have to make any throws, leading any drives down the field. It was more of a cakewalk. So I'm a little bit concerned about that. And for that reason, I'm going with Kansas City.
Okay. Well, that seems to be a common refrain here tonight. Do you have a prop play?
Scary, right? I do. Similar to Mr. Friedman's play earlier, but a little less long. I'm going to take any quarterback to be MVP. No. We have that up on Profit Exchange at plus 360. So I've actually taken the kicker plays as well. So it was great to hear that. I saw Thomas gave a nice little fist bump as well. So it seems like we'll have some kicker interest out here come Sunday. But I, again, with both quarterbacks hurt, I like taking the field essentially here, potentially getting someone like Hassan Reddick. I don't think Frank Clark or Chris Jones will really have enough to get it done. But give me the whole gambit versus the two injured quarterbacks.
Okay. No, that's probably a good approach to it as well. Boy, these plus 360, a 350 to 1. It's going to be tough to have a winning record on our props with getting some positive numbers here. But hey, if there's value there, there's value there. All right, I'm going to go over to Alex Kane from Sport Trade, who appears to be outside right now somewhere. How you doing, Alex? Good to see you.
I'm doing well, Captain Jack. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you just fine. Yes. All right. So the reason I had to go straight to you, Alex, before I went to Pat Everson is we need an Eagles play here, right? This is too much of a landslide. This is like when you watch the pregame show and it's just everybody likes the same side. Give me your play on the game. I can probably guess what it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I think no one's done Eagles money line.
Nobody's done Eagles money line.
Yeah, and they're probably about like minus 117 or something like that.
I would give you minus 115. That's the line at Circa right now.
Oh, courtesy of Mr. Benson over there. Okay, I'll take that. That will be my side Eagles money line.
Okay, all right.
It's
good.
a square play. I'm like the perfect customer for Jeff. I mean, I'm just totally no angle whatsoever, and my prop even more so, which we talked about a couple days ago.
Well, give me the prop play. I would like to hear your prop play as well.
So is Boston Scott anytime touchdown score? It was at 17 on Sport Trade, which is what, plus 430, plus 450. No, plus 450 is 18.2, right?
Let's see, 17. It would be plus 488.
All right, perfect. There you go. I'm kind of continuing the trend of taking the long shots. I got to balance out Elihu over there, taking minus 800 something. Not to say that's not value, right? No, we don't discriminate.
If there's value, there's value. Actually, the funny thing is that was going to be my play, was that the game will not land on 7, which I figured out with the unabated calculators. But since he gave that one, I'll take something else from my list by the time it gets to me. So, Alex, I just wanted to touch base with you. I asked Jake the same question. Has this been everything you expected? Running an exchange during the Super Bowl, is the traffic coming in like you expected? And do you think this is kind of a watershed moment for exchanges in the U.S.?
Yeah, it should be pretty great. I think what surprised me like this week particularly was just like the amount of new customers, which is great. And I think that's just like because it's football and because it's a Super Bowl. Most of our volume comes in play, so it'll be really interesting to see what the whale tracker is doing in play, particularly for, like, as you mentioned, Jack, like the props and the fun stuff. We went and listed, I think we have like 10 totals and 10 spreads that will all be quoted at like $2 or less of a straddle. So it's going to be, I'm sure maybe if you're in New Jersey, you'll take a poke at some of those things. I'm sure there's a ton of value. The more you list, the more attack surface there is, right, Jeff?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's tough to be a bookmaker, and your market makers definitely have a tough job. Look, I have a position of props for this game at Sport Trade that I don't intend to have at the end of the game. These are plays that I purely want to trade out of, for better or for worse, during the game. So it'll be an interesting slant for me. But yeah, Alex, hey, thanks for joining us. You're out and about tonight. You seem to always be working. So what are you doing tonight that you're away from the office?
I was driving back into Philly, and the traffic looked really bad getting back in. So I figured I would just like stop at a Wawa here. And then when I saw Rufus was in his car, I was like, you know what? I feel validated. Now I didn't just bet $45,000. I have just about 1% of that riding on this game. So you know what? You can't discriminate, right? It's a sweat for me. $450 to me is probably less than what $45,000 is for Rufus.
Yeah, that could very well be. But I would just like to put, you have the most Philly moment of the entire stream so far, coming to us live from a Wawa. Anyone in the Philadelphia area knows that's So you're on any corner in the Delaware Valley right now.
Exactly. And tomorrow might be absolutely crazy if they win. I mean, I didn't get to experience it last time, like being in the streets. I went to the parade, but I wasn't in Philly when they won. And so, did you know they had like some grease pole competition like years ago, and that's why Philly likes to climb greased poles?
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's why that whole greased pole things happened.
That's another thing that's probably not on anybody's bingo card, is talking greased poles on the SuperStream. But Alex, thanks for joining us. I want to get over to Pat Everson, who's been waiting here patiently. Pat Everson, the hardest working man in Las Vegas, and anyone who follows him on Twitter and sees his betting roundups that he does starting at 6 a.m. his local time, all the way through the start of every NFL and college football Saturday, Sunday. He works hard for it. So Patrick Everson, hey man, how you doing?
I am doing well. You got me all right? Hopefully the sound is working and everything.
Yes, sound is perfect.
Fantastic. I'm sorry I missed out on whatever Roxy said about what was there angel dust or something? Is that what I missed there?
The one Super Bowl he's never watched was because he was had some angel dust out at Lake Mead, and you missed it. Anyone who's watching that wants to go back to that, you can just rewind towards the start of the broadcast. But yeah, it was a classic Roxy story. There's always a good Roxy story.
Absolutely.
So, Patrick, what are you doing for the game? Do you have to go running around the Vegas Strip tomorrow, or do you get to kind of enjoy it from home?
I won't be enjoying it from home, but honestly, I like being out there. It's fun to get out, get into some of these books, and get the vibe. I mean, the city's filling up. I'm sure Jeff can speak to this downtown at Circa. I'm sure it's just packed already, and I'm sure tomorrow is just going to be gangbusters there inside that book and out at Stadium. The weather's really nice today. I'm not sure what they're looking at tomorrow, but if it's anything like this tomorrow, then Stadium Swim I'm sure will really be jumping too. So I like to get out and get around and get the feel of it. And I'll have a couple of videos coming out over the course of the day from the sportsbook floors and some updates on articles and so forth. But look, I just think the whole 2 weeks has been fascinating, really starting with what Jeff hit on. And Jeff was kind enough to give me a few minutes of his time last Monday morning after, as he pointed out a little bit ago, that they opened 2.5. And he was super candid about how the market decided their number was garbage. I don't know that I think it's garbage. I mean, Jeff knows that room, and I think Jeff and his whole team there are super smart. So it's what they did is informing what I'm going to do. And I'm not saying it's smart. It's not sharp, but I'm going to have some fun with this. And I'm going to lean more toward what Circa did with this number than what the number is doing right now. But it's been fascinating. It's just a great vibe to be in here. And next year, I just can't even imagine what this is going to be like with a Super Bowl in Las Vegas. It's going to be.
That's right. Super Bowl is in Vegas next year.
It's going to be off the charts.
So what is your play on the side or total here, Pat?
So I felt like, and again, I'm not saying this isn't sharp or anything. This is just me. I've never claimed to be sharp. I just lucky to get to talk with people like you, Jack, and Jeff, and obviously Alex and Jake. The stuff you guys are doing on the trading, I hope that comes to Vegas, because that would be just so much fun. I would be so all in for having yes/no options on some of these. But I feel like the Chiefs are going to be healthier than people think, and so. I went alternate spread on the Chiefs. I went over to South Point with Chris Andrews and did Chiefs -6.5 plus 240. I just feel like the Chiefs are going to be ready for this game, and I could be totally dead wrong. And Philly could really be amped up, or it could be closer than, or it could be a closer game than that. But I just felt like that was I wanted to have a little fun with it. I didn't like the short number, so I wanted to have a little more fun with it and get hopefully a little bit better payout at the window. Provided, of course, that the Chiefs show up and have enough strength, and Mahomes is in good enough shape, and all their other weapons are in good enough shape to make it a tough day for Philly.
I agree with you. These are two teams that can take advantage of other teams' mistakes pretty efficiently. So this one could be a little bit wider than we're expecting. Who do you like as a prop play for tomorrow?
Well, and I think I can't remember which one of your guests was talking about this a little bit earlier, but it was I think it was it Friedman that was talking about the taking the QB plus not a QB to win the MVP?
That was Jake.
That was Jake. Okay, Jake, fantastic. I feel like if you're thinking of that, I think this is a prop in the same vein, and even though it's plus money. And it's something I play every year because I'm just trying to have more fun with this than being serious about it. But when you're talking about number of different players to throw a pass or complete a pass, I feel like the over 2.5 is a little bit more fun this year and a little bit more inviting. You've got a couple of quarterbacks who may still be dinged up. Something could happen on that front. Obviously, there's always the possibility. I mean, the reason people bet it is because everybody's rooting for some sort of trick play where, a wideout or a running back or Travis Kelce or somebody like that ends up throwing the ball or some sort of fourth down shenanigans, if you will. But it just seems like that one's a little more interesting this year when you've got some questions around the health of the quarterbacks. Maybe they have to sit out a series to get retaped or something like that. I think some things could happen. So obviously it's plus money. And I played it in two places. I played it in one spot at over 2.5 for an attempt. And then I noticed a couple of spots, including South Point, had over 2.5 for a completion. Maybe that's stupid of me, but I played them both. A little bit more on the completion side that you can get payout than on the attempt side, obviously. But
which one do you want to
have some fun? Which one do I want to? Oh, which one do you want to put in there? Let's go. Yeah. Let's go. Let's go over 2.5 players to have a completion.
Okay.
So they'll complete the pass.
And what line did you get there?
I was at South Point. I think it was plus 180.
Okay. Well, we're going to have Chris Andrews here in a couple minutes. We'll ask him about that prop. See what he thinks. Did Pat Everson get the best of him? We'll ask him that. But I just wanted to say to you, the guys that are on here right now, I appreciate you all coming on. If you want to stick around and hang out with us a little bit more and interact, you're welcome to do so. We're going to bring a few more people into the room right now. And if you don't want to stick around, just give us a wave and you can drop off. You don't need to wait for me to, spin it back to you. We do Irish goodbyes here. It's cool. All right. So we're gonna bring in from ESPN, one of the best reporters in the sports betting space. It's definitely one who's been here doing it longer than most. We've got David Purdom. So David Purdom, welcome along to the show. Good to see you there. Are you taking a driver's license photo after this?
No, it's my little green screen thing. I like the minimalist look. You know how long I've been here? I've been here since before you had glasses. When did that happen?
Yeah. Well, there's a story behind these. This is a little bit of a contact lens issue that they've now told me I can't wear contacts for 6 months. So going back to glasses. Not a big fan of them, but it's all right.
They look good. They look good.
Let me pull in the rest of the room here, and then we're going to get back to you, Dave, and we're going to get your picks on everything. Chris Andrews is here. I will put him in the legend category. We had Roxy on earlier, another guy that's a legend. The two of them together are quite a formidable pair, but we split them up for this broadcast. There was too many legends, would have just been too much on one screen. So we have Chris Andrews in, my brother from another mother. Neither one of us have a last name of Andrews. And Dean Sisson from the Profit Betting Exchange. He's going to tag team with Jake, and he's on now. And we're going to get his take on how things are going at Profit Betting Exchange. But let me go back to Mr. Purdom. First of all, how have you been? You and I, when we would talk, we would like to talk about your interactions with Billy Walters and, how you've tried to kind of pursue him over the years. And so there was just that VSiN interview with him the other night. You probably saw it. What did you think? This was a little bit more in-depth interview than the one a year ago. He looked pretty good, huh?
Yeah, he's a little more forthcoming than he usually is. I think with the new book coming out that he's really going to try to push that. I can't wait to read it. Armin Katayan wrote it. That ought to be really, really good. So Billy's always interesting. He's always been a fascinating character since I've been covering sports betting.
Yeah, absolutely. He's very... I don't know about you, but I felt there was a clip from that video where he talked about his thoughts about the Super Bowl game. I'm sure Brent, wanted to get his knowledge, and Billy basically said he thinks the game should be Philadelphia -3, which that just seemed to me to be a total head fake line. I don't know if there was any bookmaker out there that would watch it and want to say, Billy Walters says it should be -3. I don't know. That seemed to me to be a head fake line. What did you pick up on that? Did you see that?
I saw that too. And I don't know if you guys noticed, just about probably 45 minutes ago, we saw some movement on the line, Super Bowl line toward the Chiefs. It moved at several books, including Circa, Westgate, and Mr. Andrews' book, who I texted and jokingly said, I think I know who's behind that move. And he did not respond as his wise bookmaking skills. He knows how to deal with the media guys, but wouldn't be surprised if that was Mr. Walters making his presence known in this market. I can't see a sudden move like that from anybody else impacting several books, including Chris offshore. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was Mr. Walters.
Interesting. Very interesting. Also joining us, somebody else with a Kentucky drawl slightly. Rex Byers is going to come on the screen here as well. Good to see Rex. So I'm going to get over to Chris Andrews here real quick about the Billy Walters thing, because in that video on VSIN. Chris, you shook the man's hand. Now, Vinny was right behind you, so there was a lot more, a lot more interaction there with Vinny. Over the years, you've gotten to know Mr. Walters and the action. So, what's your take on how he's back in the swing of things, and is he influencing the market?
Well, I think he's definitely influencing the market. And believe me, if Billy thought the number was 3, right number was Philly -3, we wouldn't be. And we went to pick him. So we're at pick him right now. I don't think that would be the case. But, you guys can judge for yourself. I've always gotten along well with Billy. I obviously have a lot of respect for him as a handicapper and as a bettor. We've always gotten along well. I've been to dinner with him a couple times, been to lunch a couple times. So, I mean, I like him. I know what he is, but obviously a ton of respect. And I would, like I said, if you're reading this market right now and you think Billy's involved, I think that you would have to have your suspicions as to who he's on. And like I said, the money's moved us here, and that's why I'm at Pick'em. I went there probably about half an hour ago, something like that. So I'm still at Pick, and I know some guy just came up and he asked me if I would take a couple $100,000 on Philly at the Pick. I said, sure, step right in. So he hasn't done it yet. We'll see what happens.
Well, speaking of pick, let's get some picks. David, you were the first one introduced, so you're going to be first up here. Give me a play on the side or total.
Yeah, I took the Chiefs money line earlier in the last week sometime. I think it was at the time plus 105, something around there, maybe a little higher. When I looked at it, I just kind of go at player by player, knowing this was going to be a close game. And I just thought the edges that the Chiefs had in several positions, key positions, obviously quarterback being one, tight end being one. I think there's a little bit of a coaching advantage here as well for experience at minimum. So I went with the Chiefs. We'll see how that goes.
Okay. All right. And do you have a prop play for us, sir?
Yeah, I'm going to go with heads. Heads on the coin flip. That's
probably that was mine.
That's probably the most EV bet I'll make all year.
Damn.
Knowing my EV is
all right. So you laid 115 on that, right?
Something.
I'll give you even money.
Thank you.
That's Spanky's play, by the way. He's always telling that's
I like to be on the same side as Spanky.
Prop play. Okay, great. So, Chris Andrews, welcome back in here. I wanted to kind of get back to you. David reported earlier on Twitter that the action seems a little slower this year, that there hasn't been quite as many big bets. What are you seeing at South Point? Is it starting to ramp up now? Are we getting into the rush?
Yeah, I would say probably David's right from what he's looking at. We haven't had as many like really big bets, but I can tell you now from this morning, and we have 12 ticket writers and I think 11 kiosks, and the line has not stopped all day. So the action is here. As far as like the real big bets, we have not seen too much of that. So I think when we finally break everything down, I think our ticket counts will probably be pretty close to last year. I don't know. I mean, if some big money all of a sudden shows up, either with the move or against it, then I have a bet with the general manager that we're going to write less than last year. I'm betting under, he's betting over. So I hope I owe him $1 at the end of the day tomorrow. But I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. But I can tell you the ticket count is fantastic. I'm not sure how the money is, but I will say this: the props are getting a ton of play. And it seems like I say that every year, but there's just so much prop action here. I'm not sure if they'll outright the game or not. I think it'll be pretty close, but I think the props probably will outright the game a little bit.
And how much did you have to move that line after Patrick Everson came in and took over 2.5 players to complete a pass? Did you?
Well, I switched favorites after Patrick played it. I mean, what else are you going to do?
3.5.
Yeah.
I'm not buying that.
No, you know me better than that, Patrick. I gotta say, great, and a couple of these guys. Some of these guys I don't know. Some of them I do. But David Purdom, I love David. Talked to him many, many times, and Patrick Everson's always treated me really well. So I know we're always a little apprehensive of the media, but those two good guys, and they always tell the truth. Good, bad, indifferent. And you got to respect that.
Absolutely, they're two of the best there is, and that's why they're on here. Chris, can I get from you a pick on the side or total, and then a prop play from you?
Yeah, I didn't open 2.5 like they did downtown at the Circa, but I did open Kansas City 1.5. I thought they did deserve to be the favorite. I've kind of flip-flopped a little bit as we've gone through the week. But I think right now, I think Kansas City is probably the right side. I don't know what number you want to give me. I mean, I'm at Pick'em in my own store right here, so probably need to put me down to Pick'em. I don't want to take advantage.
You ain't allowed to bet yourself, Chris. Take the money line plus money. Take even money.
Yeah, I think there's still a plus 105 out there on the money line.
There's probably some plus 105s. I mean, I had the one guy bet me. What did bet me 100,000 plus $1.15, I think. So I mean, you could sign me up for there. But I do think KC's probably the right side here. And like I said, I did open them the favorite, so you could just go back to that opening line. If I have a prop play, and I mean, most of these I put out, and I don't want to just give some of the layups, like no safety or anything like that. But I would say a prop that's within like a decent price. I like KC to have the shortest field goal. And I got minus 130 on my board right now, and I would go with that. Kansas City to have the shortest field goal. I'm not crazy about either one of these kickers, to tell you the truth. But I think Kansas City, I think they're more inclined to kick the short field goals rather than Philly, especially in a game like this. I think Philly's going to want to go for it on fourth down if they're in that range, whereas Andy Reid's a little more likely to kick field goals. So I would have Kansas City to have the shortest field goal.
Interesting. Very interesting. One last question for you, Chris. I don't know if you were listening earlier with Roxy's angel dust story. Have you heard that story before?
Oh, yeah. Roxy and I go way back, and, we both laugh about it. I remember we were both busted out, and he used to come up to Reno and sleep on my couch. He couldn't afford a hotel room, and I could barely afford to pay for my rent, but we were hanging out together, and we had a lot of fun in those days, I'll tell you. But I think we're both a little too old to go back to some of those old habits. But, I have heard the angel dust story. Fortunately, I never did that. But me and Roxy did plenty of other things. But unfortunately, I stayed away from the angel dust.
Well, there was a comment in the chat here. Chrissy doing LSD during the Rams-Titans Super Bowl is going to win me bigly on Legends Bingo. Very funny chat going on tonight. If you're watching on Twitter, hop over to YouTube. We're on YouTube. There's a chat room. People are having a good time. There may be some beverages being had. But thank you for the stopping in there, Chris. I appreciate it. I know this is a busy time for you, so I don't want to keep you here too much longer if you have things to do. Another guy that has a lot to do tonight because he's working right now is Rex Byers with PlayUp USA. Hey, Rex, how you doing, buddy?
Good, Jack. I'm all good. Although don't worry too much. Chris, I used to work with Chris, and the girl that's moving my lines right now, Haley, also did. So we're in good hands here. She'll hang out for as long as I'm allowed to talk here. I think she'll be fine. She's probably listening, so she can gut it out for a little bit longer if I go over.
Cool. How's everything going to PlayUp? Are you getting some Super Bowl action there? Things heating up?
Did talk to Patrick about this briefly earlier in the week. It's not a whole lot to it here. Most of our business is fairly sharp. We technologically wise, we're not there yet. So we've had to basically keep it to where there's not a whole lot going on with us. Any kind of real big bets. And the line being parked where it is and not really going anywhere was sort of been that way since really. I mean, the circa 2.5 opener was a little bit of a phony because of the fact that they're absolutely drowned to future money on KC. So they needed to get some buyback. And I think that they overshot how much it probably was going to come in their face. But I Jesus Christ, what a pun. But I really think that the number was KC being the favorite, just like Chris, 1.5. So it wasn't a far-fetched idea to open it as high as 2.5 to get some of that immediate Philadelphia money to try to mitigate some of their liability. But that's the line's what it is. The total, I thought 51 was always the number. I think lower opener was probably right, but the fact is you're going to get public money on over in this game, and it's going to overcome everything. Doesn't matter what Billy's doing or anything like that with the total. I mean, you just got so much money on the over from the public that you've got to run it a little bit higher. But I think 51 is the number. And to be honest with you, like the Westgate just went to 52, and that would be an under for me. Whereas if the game were like 49, it would be an over. So that's like that close to the thing. I know if you're asking for picks, for me, it's KC money line plus 05 or better. And and over at the 49 level and under at the 52 level. So given the
Wow.
fact that the 52 popped up now, I would say go ahead and chart me under. I literally have almost no opinion there. I guess you're going to want the prop.
Well, let's give me the prop. Sure.
Sure. Let's try Kenneth Gainwell over. I'll give you only allowed to have one. I'll give you over in receiving yards rather than receptions, but I think both are good bets at 1.5. Most places have 11.5, 12.5. There is a 13.5 at the Westgate. But basically anywhere you pick a yardage, 11.5 is widely available at many places in many states that people that are listening to this can get to. Thought process is pretty simple. The Chiefs are god awful against running backs in the passing game. They've given up 6.5 catches and 46 yards on average this year. And,
52 at the total.
The Kansas City, that's last in the league, the 6.5 catches, and the receiving yards is 31st, so second to last. So you got a Kansas City defense that doesn't defend the pass. You've got two other receivers for Philadelphia out of the backfield, Sanders and Scott, who don't catch passes, at least Gainwell only. Sanders caught one catch since Christmas. Scott has two since Thanksgiving. They're non-factors in the passing game. Yeah, given the fact that Gainwell's caught at least one pass in 9 straight, that gives him a chance to get over just with the one catch. But I think that he'll get plenty more than that. He was the MVP of the game 2 weeks ago, so against the Giants. Bottom line is Gainwell to go over, and his receiving statistics are good bets.
That was a very good analysis. I appreciate that, Rex. Thank you for that. I don't know if people caught it, like while you were talking there, it looked like Vinny came in to see Chris and they went to 52. Is that what happened there?
No, I was telling Vinny Westgate went to 52. I'm at 51.5. They bet me under 51.5 pretty good last time I went. They haven't jumped back in yet. So I'm still at 51.5. I just saw Westgate went to 52, and we're pretty high on the over, but I'm going to see if I can get them to bite on 51.5 and not have to go to 52.
Yeah, I don't know whether they took a big better. I mean, I know Ed's still there probably for another couple hours, so it's for sure. It's not like it's one of the kids back there moving it. It's Ed for sure. He saw something that he deems worthy of moving it to 52 off of.
Yeah, I got a lot of respect for those guys. So, when they move something like that, I take notice. But like I said, last time I went to 51.5, they bet me under. I was only there for about 10, 15 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe half an hour.
Yeah,
they bet me quick. So we'll see.
I was there last year, Jack. To answer your question, I would have been able to tell you who did what with the Westgate, but not anymore. So I got no idea what's going on back there. But I do know tomorrow I will be there. The fact that our shop's small enough and I don't have to grade every prop under the moon means Super Bowl Sunday is not a busy day for me. It's actually quite convenient when people are like, "Man, I'm sure you're buried this week." And I'm like, "No, not really. If you want to do something, that's fine. If it's something I'm trying to dodge, then I'm like, I can't. I'm too busy. Get back to me in a couple of weeks."
Well, Rex, why don't you give me Haley back then if you don't need her? If you're not.
I need her. I don't have enough people. I need people. I don't have enough. I don't have enough product. But yeah, I need people.
Okay. And that's this is actually a great exchange to prove how collegial the Vegas sports betting industry is. These guys all drink together. These guys all have a lot of respect for each other. It's not too cutthroat in terms of how they view each other. Sure, they're trying to get the best line. They're trying to have the best shop. But the one thing I've learned from hanging out with Vegas bookmakers is they really respect the hell out of each other. So thank you, Rex and Chris, for kind of showing us that live on camera.
Hey Jack, we don't all drink like Roxy, just so you know that. So
I drink like Roxy.
Well, speaking with a broad brush, Rex, we don't all drink like Roxy.
This competition is only for amateurs.
By the way, just since you guys were asking me before, one of my big players just bet me under 51.5, so I'm back to 51 on that total.
Yeah, there you go. So you didn't have to do it.
Yeah. So, I held the fort and wound up being the right move. So
I just went and grabbed that Westgate 52. So I'm sure that number will be back down really soon.
Yeah.
Oh man, Thomas Viola just bet us. We got to move. Hey, listen, Dean, thank you for hanging in there down there. I appreciate it. Sorry, you got to kind of got stuck around legends here for a minute, and that's what happens. Dean, welcome in. Dean is with the Profit Betting Exchange. We just had Jake a little bit earlier. The question I asked him, I asked Alex Kane of Sport Trade, how's it been? This is your first Super Bowl being in business. How does it feel?
Yeah, it feels good. First of all, I just need to start with I unfortunately have to jump in a couple minutes, but I was enjoying all of that banter on Angel's Dust and what have you. It's been going well. You know, this is obviously my first time operating a sports betting operator, so I've been learning a lot as we go. I think something that's caught my eye over these last 2 weeks is how much action these props are getting. I think, Chris, you mentioned it earlier. We put a lot of work in to roll these out. A lot of touchdown scores, yes, no. A lot of the basic ones like first half, coin toss. They've done almost 40% of what the main markets have done. So that definitely surprised me. But everything's going well. We're slowly starting to get some steam. The football season went very well for us. We've done more volume than I expected. So we're excited what March Madness brings and NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, and then onward.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I hate to interrupt, but I have to run. I just want Jack. Thank you for hosting this. Thanks to everybody that's been on here, but I do have to run right now. And good luck to everybody, except unless you're betting the South Point. So see you guys later. Have fun, everybody.
Take care,
Patrick.
Chris.
I'm going to be looking out for you. I hope I don't see you in the cashier's line. All right, just joking. See you guys. Be good. Bye bye.
So Dean, I know you're under a time crunch here, so let's get your play on the side or total.
This has been a brick wall for me all week. I actually, when you pinged me earlier in the week, I was like, all right, I need to have a side by the time I come on this stream, and I still don't have one. However, I do like the number on the Chiefs right now. We've got 109. If I saw Philly under, I don't know, minus 105, I would probably jump on that. But Chiefs plus 109, that'll be my pick. As for the prop, I cannot believe Purdom took my pick of heads on the coin toss. I absolutely.
Well, you can fade him if you want.
I can house it, I suppose. I'm a sucker for roulette. You know, the instant gratification on red or black if I win or lose. So I'm a big coin toss guy. But the other one I've been staring at all week, and I'm going to plug our site here, is Devontae Smith not to score minus 196. I love the game script for the Eagles of run the ball, take the lead, milk the clock. Jalen Hurts has a banged up shoulder. I just think that's a recipe for the receivers not to score, him not to throw passing touchdowns. So I want to jump on that.
Okay, I appreciate that. Yeah, that's look, everybody's fading Philadelphia. Everybody's on KC. This is quite interesting. This is how this is shaping up. I really expected to be more balanced than this.
And I'll hop back in here, seeing that you've got me charted for under 52. That's the option. I thought that we had to have something for all three. But yeah, if we're talking about you're going to chart me on one bet on this game, it definitely has to be Kansas City. I'll be as brief as possible on the field. I told you already. I made them the favorite. I'm very anti-Philly. I did a lot of radio work with the Westgate last year with WIP and Ricky Ricardo, and I did make a lot of friends there. Even though it was overnight, there's still a lot of people that listen. But I wasn't sold on the quarterback. He hasn't won a big game, really. If you want to get right down to it, the biggest game he ever played, he was so bad they had to bench him, and then he transferred. I wasn't impressed last week. They beat Daniel Jones the week before. I still think that Philadelphia wins that game if the quarterback stays healthy. You look at their scoring drives. The first one was an incomplete fourth down pass that didn't get challenged. The second one was when the refs escorted them like police with flags all the way down the field. The third one was a short field after an only turnover when the backup quarterback drops the ball and alligator armed it to recover it. And Philly got it and ran in from 20 yards. Fourth was a roughing the punter at midfield when he hit the plant leg, which, he the kicking leg, never see that. The fifth one was punching the ball 3 times out of frustration and getting a personal foul and setting up a chip shot. So that's all their points in that game. Played a bad schedule all year, never traveled out of the Eastern time zone except to play Dallas. It's one of those games where both the teams have good records, both are top seeds. But in my mind, it's almost a disappointment that we didn't get somebody else in here because I think both teams are overrated, overvalued. And I would have liked to try to bet against both of them in the right spot. Unfortunately, KC's the only side that I can be dealt with because I'm left with because Philadelphia I'm so anti them to be in this spot, given how little that they've actually done in the playoffs.
Rex, how do you watch every game? That was pretty remarkable how you just kind of rattled off every single instance from.
Do have all 22. I do watch the middle of the week. I'll see what happens up in the line of scrimmage and try to figure out which linemen actually matter. For example, when the Bengals lost or beat Buffalo up there, everybody talked about, well, they're missing 3 offensive linemen. Well, nobody bothered to look But those 3 offensive linemen were like in the bottom 9 at PFF or bottom 6, depending at their position, over the course of the year. So it wasn't like those guys were great linemen. They just were starting linemen. So the drop off to the backups wasn't nearly as significant as what you would assume. So, yeah, I mean, I got to know about that stuff if I'm going to try to have a power rating that I believe is going to be as good as possible in that league. I mean, Lord knows it's the toughest market to beat in our hemisphere or our
Okay.
Western hemisphere.
With all of your tweets, I just assumed you were kind of like me, where sometimes you're just on Twitter just to avoid doing other things. It sounds like you got your plate full all the time.
Well, it's what happens when you're married to the job or you're married to the life. I mean, I was in Costa Rica for a long time and I had a couple of girlfriends here and there, but nothing too serious. And I never really settled down. And part of it's just because of the setup. I mean, I'm living in a bachelor pad right now that I'm going to make if next time you're out in town, I'll even show it to you. It's going to be end up looking like a bachelor pad man cave office, half. And did I say 3 halves there? Yes, because it's incredible setup where I've got like enough wall space to have, I don't know, I can maybe go as high as 16 televisions if I want to. So I'm going to try to decide how much to really set it up and how much to put into it based on, what the job obviously continues to envelop and what all ends up coming out of it. It may not be just play up stuff. They've given me the okay to do a lot of stuff on the side in terms of Twitch TV and stuff like that. So certainly down the road, the next time I do one of these things, I hope I'll have some stuff to promote for myself. But for the time being, just play up, trying to get the thing off the ground.
Well, next time maybe there'll be something on the wall, because right now you got pristine white walls there behind.
That's
you.
Behind me. The one that's in front of me is where I'm looking at my monitors right now. I've got 6 monitors in front of me plus my laptop monitor, and then I've got straight aheads where I'm going to put all that stuff. So it'll be pretty cool having bunch of different other cameras set up. It won't be quite as nice as Drew's set up over there. See, he just popped on, but it'll certainly be something that I'm proud of. So. Anyways, look forward to hearing the rest of you guys talk the rest of the night. I got to catch up to it after I get off work. But, Jack, thanks for having me on. Anything else you need from me or no?
No, Rex, that was great. Great.
Excellent, guys. Tom, take care. Pat, take care, guys. Have a good hour.
Rex, I'll see you at Oasis after the game.
Yep. All right.
All right. So the one and only Rex Byers there. Hey, I'm only 8 minutes behind schedule, which is actually better than I thought I would be at this point. But let's bring in a few more people. First of all, we got Drew Dinsick, who really needs no introduction, but NBC Sports, the Deep Dive podcast. Drew is a force in handicapping, whether it be you are, whether it be tennis, whether it be football. I did not pull the clip, Drew, but I was listening to in the off season, Drew and Andy do a deep dive on every single team. And they were doing the Philadelphia Eagles. And I'm like, oh, I'll listen into this, And they realized to each other midway through this podcast that, oh, shit, the Eagles might have a shot here because this schedule's really weak for them. And if the NFC goes through Philadelphia, there's a good chance the Eagles make the Super Bowl. And so they were like, okay, we got to load up on Eagles to win the NFC. And this was in July. This was before anybody else was really kind of on that same bandwagon. So kudos to you, Drew. I wish more people knew about that play the foresight that you guys had. We're going to get right back to you for your picks here in a second. Let me just also bring in Matt Landis, the host of the Props and Hops podcast. I don't have a beer tonight. I should have brought a beer and let Matt kind of analyze if it's the right beer for a 3.5 hour live stream. But Matt, thank you for joining. And then, of course, Ben Carey, who is my arch nemesis in the Unabated Capwise prop pool pick'em contest. Spit all over my camera. We are playing against each other, and the loser, here's the prize or the consequence. The loser has to wear the ball cap of choosing from the winner for a week.
Do you see what's behind me?
I was actually going to throw in there, I don't want to be wearing one of those dumbass big hats. But
so you better win then. No, I won't be too hard on you. I'll send you something good.
No,
Make it the big hat, Ben.
Jack's second guessing this. I threw out the Nerfy idea, but I know that's not till baseball season. But
no, you know what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to make you wear a 76ers cap, and then I'm going to just put you all over Philadelphia media for the week.
Oh man,
and have you talk about your man crush on Josic. So yeah,
that's the rivalry out here in Denver. It's the Philly-Denver Jokic and Embiid rivalry.
Yeah. All right, but that's basketball. We're not talking basketball here. We're behind schedule. Hey, Drew, how's it going, man?
Oh, it's going well. To come back to your setup, first of all, thank you for the very, very kind introduction as always, and for hosting this event. Very cool that you get to put one piece of content together with all of these voices across the entire space. And I've seen the rundown; it's unbelievable. I can't wait to consume it in full before the game kicks off tomorrow, because there is a long wait for that kickoff on Super Bowl Sunday. But the Eagles were softly on my radar after the AJ Brown acquisition, because it was literally like, oh boy, like they're stockpiling assets. They're going all in on Jalen Hurts. They must know something about their self-evaluation that they feel like this guy's going to make a leap this year. But I was late to market. Like the best Eagles prices were bet before I even really kind of got into my handicap this year. And so when we got to that review in particular, the preview in particular, I was thinking, man, I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna throw some cold water on this. Like it's overheated. The love for the Eagles is too hot right now. And then we got to the schedule, and it was literally like, whoa, there are no good quarterbacks on the schedule. Like the entire handicap for the regular season in the NFL this year was the NFC is weak, like phenomenally weaker than the AFC. And so there's going to be some surprises there. Now, as weak as we thought it was going to be at that time, it turned out to be even weaker. Like if you had told me at that time they're going to have to beat Daniel Jones and Brock Johnson on their way to a Super Bowl spot, I would have told you like that's even weaker than I would have dreamed. But it was good to take a bullish position on them at that time. The best bet I made was most wins 20-1, which got chopped with KC. If they had just beaten the Saints, then they win it outright. But I came so close to a huge score on Sirianni Coach of the Year. But losing at the end of the season is always problematic in that market. So be it. It gives me a broad flexibility to go absolutely ham on KC here. Because I don't make this a fair market. I think this is, one of the weird, like giant, huge liquid pools. These come around every once in a while. Everybody points to Mayweather McGregor as sort of the obvious one, but there are clear examples of games of this magnitude where the baseline price is off for whatever reason, and I think this is one of them. So happy to have that kind of flexibility and ability to go hard at some KC here. And, maybe the only time in our lives we get to bet Pat Mahomes as a dog in a Super Bowl. So don't mind having that in my pocket, and excited to kick back and watch the game.
So your pick for the side or total is going to be on KC. How did you slice it?
For sure. Yeah. KC money line, I think is the right price. My fair for what it's worth is KC minus 2.5 here. I think they should be in the 58% to win probability range. And, the big miss and the big whiff, in my opinion, it started, I was kind of fixated on the injury and the fact that you watched that NFC Championship game, and for what it was worth, I didn't think Hurts was right. I didn't think he was as accurate with his downfield passing, and that was sort of the element of his game that really unlocked the entire capability of the Eagles offense this season. So that was where I started. Kind of shading Chiefs. And then you synthesize the fact that this is, a Grand Canyon of disparity between experience at coach and quarterback from the two units. And there's a long tail for Philly just not looking good offensively, in my opinion. I think you could realistically, have a situation where Hurts is coming out and he's deer in the headlights like he was against the Bucs last year in the wild card round. And if he's physically limited or doubting his abilities to push the ball downfield accurately, then that makes it even more complex for Philly to work their way out of this. I get it. Like the talent and the depth on the defense is spooky. But Mahomes figuring out a way to move the ball by kind of exercising the screen game, exercising the tight end targets, I think is going to be a pretty huge part of their offensive game plan. And, you're telling me Andy Reid sitting down and looking at a defense coordinated by Jonathan Gannon that's, playing soft zone at a pretty, unfavorable clip in terms of what you're facing against Mahomes. I think Andy Reid is going to have all of the answers in this one to put scoreboard pressure on Hurts and Sirianni, and at that point, this game I think could get out of hand. So KC money line, best bet for me. Side total, any market, and if you have an edge on the side, then the props become a little less interesting in a game like this, in my opinion, because it's so much more liquid of a market.
Wow. Okay. Wow, Drew, that was another convincing analysis that leans towards Kansas City. It's a tidal wave in here right now in terms of the lean towards Kansas City. That's amazing.
I don't mind making a soft prediction that if KC does win with margin because Hurts is deer in the headlights, this game will be talked about like Mayweather McGregor, like all summer long. People will be like, you didn't double your net worth on the Chiefs as a dog in Super Bowl. Like people will be, kind of spinning that narrative after the fact, regardless of whatever stake they took on this game.
Wow. Okay. All right. But do you have a prop play for us though?
I'll do Hurts over a half interception. I think that's still available at plus money. Most of your shops. Anything better than 2.0 is a bet for me there. Again, the fact that he's had a little bit of a lack of touch on the deep intermediate stuff, the fact that you could see Philadelphia in a negative game state at some point here, I think plays into the likelihood that he is asked to do more than he is comfortable doing with his current physical condition. And you got a ball hawking unit here with the Chiefs secondary that is playing as well as any secondary coming down the home stretch. I mean, people look at the season-long data when they're evaluating teams. People were calling the Niners best defense in the NFL when it had been 5 weeks since we had seen them performing at a level that qualified that. I think the Chiefs are playing at a better level defensively than the Eagles are right now, and that's not to disparage what the Eagles are in terms of just personnel strength, but I think this Chiefs team can come away with a takeaway, and it may come early in the game. But either way, I think at anything better than 2-1 is a bet for me, or anything better than 2.0. So anything better than plus 100 is a bet for me.
Yeah, it's plus 112 at Caesars.
There we go.
In the chat, somebody said it's at plus 120 at BetMGM. Well, Drew bets more than $3, so he's not going to bet. Throw a little shade. Hey, Drew, were you listening earlier with Roxy's angel dust story? Did you hear any of that?
No, but without question, I am excited to go back and listen to it. Angel dust stories are the more entertaining ones that you come across, so I can't wait to hear what he has to say.
Yeah, that was the first 15, 20 minutes. We were off to a rocking start here as that day. All right, let's stick around, Drew. I see you have a beverage in hand. That's great. Matt Landis knows a thing or two about beverages, beers anyway. Matt, how you been, buddy?
Jack, doing well. Great to be in such esteemed company, less than 24 hours from the Super Bowl. So you can't imagine being too much better than this right now.
Yeah, Matt was a late addition into the broadcast. He didn't even get onto that epic thumbnail, unfortunately. So unfortunate that you didn't get on there. But Matt, you've been the Props and Hops podcast rolls on. You've had some great guests lately. What are you going to do once the season's over? Are you going to continue transition to college basketball and NBA, or do you take a little time off in the off season?
Yeah, I'll keep the show going on a weekly cadence throughout the NFL offseason. NFL is definitely my bread and butter with the podcast and a lot of the guests that I bring on. But it's going to be a pretty quick pivot to the NFL draft. We've got March Madness, MLB opening day, NBA, NHL playoffs, some major events in golf and tennis. Drew, I might be hitting you up about one or two of those from time to time. So yeah, the show rolls on, but it's been a really fun sprint these last couple of weeks with some daily interviews with a lot of pro bettors, sharp NFL analysts, and we've been looking ahead to the Super Bowl, but also looking back on the season and just revisiting lessons learned that can be applied as a lot of us start to formulate our thoughts for the 2023 season and beyond. So yeah, we've got some Super Bowl picks these last couple of weeks, but I think a lot of good process-driven stuff that, Jack, a lot of your audience might find interesting on more of an evergreen level. So plenty of new content to come, but even these past couple of weeks, and Drew was kind enough to kick off my daily interview series last Monday, I feel like it's been too much fun to take a break altogether, but the once a week cadence is really nice during the NFL offseason.
I owe Matt a debt of gratitude for asking the questions he asked, because I had a great NFL season overall. But when you do well in this game, you tend not to self-evaluate as much. And so it really forced me to kind of look hard at my season and be like, man, what was I thinking then? What was I doing there? I would recommend to anyone, do a very decent autopsy on your NFL betting, and take those lessons into next season. Don't just coast on your laurels.
Absolutely. That's great. That's great advice. Hey, let's keep the picks rolling. Well, that's what a lot of people are tuning in for. We got over 200 people right here on YouTube, and at least a dozen probably on Twitter. No, probably a lot more on Twitter. Let's, Matt, what is your pick on the side or total, as well as your prop play?
I really thought I'd be swimming upstream here, but I'm going to add to that Chiefs tidal wave. Give me Kansas City plus 1.5 where it's still available. And I won't claim to have quite as much conviction as Drew, but this has been a really interesting market for me to evaluate, because on one hand, when we talk about a Super Bowl full game point spread that's been available for almost 2 weeks at this point, that's about as efficient as any line in sports betting gets. So I have a lot of respect for the Eagles quickly flipping to the favorite and holding on as a favorite in this one. And on the other hand, pretty much all season long, any respected power ratings had Kansas City a clear better team, not a significantly better team, but clearly the superior team in this one. And every way I slice it, I've just been going back and forth. I mean, even down to my brother-in-law, Tommy, big Eagles fan, my best friend, Ryan, a big Chiefs fan. It's like, what does my brain think? What does my heart think? Ultimately, to me, it boils down to the fact that I do feel that the Kansas City injuries have been maybe overblown just a bit in this marketplace. And looking at everybody but Hardman being on the field for them in this one, I don't think that means everybody's at 100%. But I also think that as much buzz as we heard about Patrick Mahomes' ankle leading up to the AFC title game, I'm hearing a lot more whispers about Jalen Hurts maybe being the more limited quarterback come kickoff tomorrow. So all things considered, it's a great matchup. The two best teams in each conference, I think you could easily argue, but plus money on either team or a plus number on any team. Give me Kansas City plus 1.5.
Okay. I mean, that's been a common refrain here so far tonight. How about your prop play?
Yeah, so this one I will fade the Chiefs in a sense. I'm looking at MVS under 35.5 receiving yards, and I'm happy to grade this pick at that number, but I actually haven't bet it yet. I feel like with some recency bias, we might actually see this number tick up a bit between now and kickoff as a lot more public money floods the marketplace. And it's funny, I was on a podcast on Wednesday night. I mentioned this pick, and then Thursday recorded Props and Hops with Hitman, who is a world-class prop bettor, and he got to it before I could even tee him up on the MVS under. That's usually a good sign if I want to run something by Hitman, and he already has a strong feeling on it. A lot of it is driven by the fact that in the AFC title game, MVS had a big performance on a massive stage. I mean, can't dispute how good of a performance that was. 6 catches, 116 yards, a big touchdown. A lot of that, though, driven by 8 targets, thanks to quite a bit of attrition across the Chiefs wide receiver core. Juju, Tony, and Hardman all going down during that game. And with the Chiefs a lot closer to 100% tomorrow, I can't help but remember that MVS entering the AFC title game, he was lined at 27.5 receiving yards, heavily juiced to the under. So I think we're seeing a steep over adjustment here. Again, recency bias maybe playing just a bit too much of a role. So all things considered, while I do like the Chiefs in the game, I also like MVS to come in under 35.5 receiving yards.
Another solid analysis there. Thank you, Matt. We're gonna keep on rolling here because I'm, roughly 10, 15 minutes behind schedule right now. I'm gonna bring in some more people. You guys are welcome to stay. A lot of great content. Ben, I haven't got to you yet, and that's on purpose because I'm crushing your soul in this props contest. I'm not gonna sit in the corner. No, I'll give it to you in a second, Ben. Let's bring some more people onto the screen. We got some DFS guys. Okay, we've been talking sports betting guys all night. But honestly, DFS is a major component of props betting. And it is the DFS guys who have mastered the projections on player props to the point that all the sports betting guys largely look to the DFS guys for projections on their players. So I've got a couple of the best ones that I know here. Tony Nyhouse comes in from Run Pure Sports, and Kyle Murray, who, by the way, when you Google Kyle Murray, it's really tough to find anything related to actual Kyle Murray because Kyler Murray comes up in all the Google responses. But hey, welcome, guys. Thanks for joining me. both of us, I'm meeting both of you for the first time. So I appreciate you coming on to the screen here, to the stream, and joining us. We've got a great crowd in here already. Tony, I'm going to start with you. So I don't know if you've been watching the past hour and a half that we've been going here. It's been a red wave, and you have a red sweatshirt on. So something tells me this red wave is going to continue. Tony, could you give us your play on this game in terms of the side or total that you like?
Yeah, it might be a little bit of a plot twist because I was heavy on the Bengals. It didn't work out for me against the Chiefs. I just don't see it. I thought everyone was going to be on Philadelphia coming into the night. So I'm kind of happy that I see all the red wave because I just think it's a mismatch talent-wise. I mean, obviously Mahomes is the best quarterback, but the rest of the game, I see an edge on the Philly side. So I'm going Philly. Money line, too. I don't know. It seems like, what's the line settled at?
Well,
basically
let's
a
see.
pick everywhere, pretty much, right?
Yeah, I think we're down to pick just about everywhere. I'll give you the latest money line odds.
Yeah.
Using the unabated odds screen here. You can now get even money on Philadelphia at many different shops.
Yeah, I like that. I'm in on that for sure. I think there's a clear advantage up front, too. The Bengals matched up good on defense, but they weren't able to get any pressure, at least not much pressure. I think Philly will get a lot more disruption in there towards Mahomes.
Okay. Look, I kind of feel like this analysis so far on our show has been very, very slanted. And I thought this game was a lot closer on paper, and in my mind it was. I'm in South Jersey, though, so I'm a little bit maybe too close to the media machine around here. But Tony, do you have a prop play for us?
Yeah, so I mean, we got a bunch of them up on the site, but I wanted to give one with a little bit better odds. Like I said, I think Philly's got a big advantage up front, so I'm actually going to go anytime touchdown. Eagles defense 6-1. I think plus 600 is like a really good number on that. With how much pressure they get up front, good cornerbacks that can take it to the house. I think it's just too high. I mean, 6-1 feels fair to me. So rather than give like a minus 120 or something like that, I'll give one with a little bit of edge to it, I think.
Okay.
No team has ever lost the Super Bowl when they have a defensive touchdown, defensive or special teams. I know it's
it's a good stuff. I like some of those single game ones too. I know a lot of the casual fans love the single game parlays. You correlate up stuff like Philly money line with a defensive score at 6-1, maybe Miles Sanders score or something in there. You get some crazy odds back. And I mean, once you get that touchdown, you got just so much upside. Granted, I mean, I'm not saying it's for sure going to happen, but 6-1, I mean, you can get like 100-1 odds just throwing a couple more things in there. So I like it a lot.
Defensive TD, not special teams. My bad. Thanks, Chris Davis.
Yeah. So Tony, your bet was anytime TD Philadelphia defense and special teams, or just defense?
I think it should be for both, right? Or is it just?
I believe it would be. I wrote.
I think it's both that I bet it at. I can make sure though.
Well, that's right.
I'm pretty sure it's both though.
We'll modify.
Yeah,
it.
It's both. I got plus 600.
That's not bad.
Yeah. I mean, it feels high. I mean, it feels too high to me. I thought it would be like 450 or something. So I think it's decent edge in there, especially if you think they got an edge up front, which they have all year.
Yeah, I was actually looking at this on the exchanges here in New Jersey, and I did see this was around plus 500. So this is a good number there at 600.
Like it.
Definitely. Hey, Kyle, welcome in yourself, and pleasure to meet you as well. Joining in the group here, are you on the red wave, or are you that the buck stops with the Philadelphia defense?
Yeah, luckily me and Tony rolled in together because I'm also on the Eagles here.
Okay.
I've been listening the last hour or so, and I was really starting to question myself. I've had a lot of convincing arguments over on the KC side, so props to those guys. But I do have Philly here. A lot of things that Tony said I agree with. I think that the advantage up front is going to help. I think the defensive advantage as well is going to be something that the Eagles can use to their advantage. Obviously, we haven't really been able to see a lot from the offensive side of things from Philly the last two games with the massive blowouts, but I don't think that's anything to really discount them for here. So I also have Eagles here, and I didn't even see that it was down to even money there. So that makes me like it even more. So I will just follow Tony here, Philly money line.
I feel like I need to step in and do a Rufus Peabody impression. You guys are so sure that the front seven for the Eagles is going to be a factor. You don't believe that sacks are a quarterback statistic effectively, and that Mahomes' elusiveness in the pocket and his just in general his preternatural nature to avoid the truly negative play is going to kind of neutralize the strength of that unit.
It definitely could. I mean, like you that big word that I'm not even going to attempt to replicate there. Mahomes definitely has that sort of capability. Obviously, potentially one of the most skilled quarterbacks of our time. So no doubt that's definitely a possibility. Definitely something to be worried about. But this is a very difficult secondary to deal with as well. So obviously they're talented left to right for the Eagles secondary there. So and then obviously the front as well. No easy task to protect Mahomes, and obviously he can get the job done and avoid some of that pressure. But at the end of the day, it's going to be very consistent. So I like the Eagles' defense here and their odds to kind of contain that offense.
The last time we saw old Mahomes in the Super Bowl, he wasn't eluding very many people. I'll say that much.
That's true.
We did have Remmers up there blocking, but.
Yeah, it's just a counterpoint.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure 4 of those 5 guys are out of the league. But yeah,
there were 5 revolving doors.
It's just a counterpoint.
Hey, Big T, don't worry, you're gonna like my pick. So,
all right. Hey, Kyle, give us your prop play, and then I guess I've got to talk to Ben a little bit too.
Yeah, we had some juicy prop plays. I'm not going to lie. Tony kind of threw a little jab at the -120 props, which I feel like you either knew what I was coming in with because I have a play at -120. So I don't know if you were slanting me there, but I got AJ Brown over 72.5 receiving yards so far this season in games with a 50 implied game total or higher. AJ Brown averaging over 85 receiving yards per game. That's per our splits tool, by the way, at FTN. So those tools obviously very helpful. But in terms of what we can expect from this Philly offense, I think they're going to be forced to throw more. Whether they win this game or not, I think it's going to be a spot where the game is at least close, which we haven't seen from Philly at all this postseason, with them just absolutely blowing other teams out of the water. So closer games, high implied total. I think that leads to more, passing opportunities for the Eagles and therefore more production for the receiving game and AJ Brown. And I know the shoulder is a big worry here, but also 2 weeks of rest time here for Jalen Hurts potentially get a little bit healthier and ready to go for this game. So AJ Brown over 72.5 receiving yards.
Okay, I like that. That play there. I was wondering if we were going to hear any AJ Brown props so far. The other surprise, we haven't heard any Travis Kelce mentions yet tonight. Yeah. That's going to be another sharp play of wait till the last minute when the Travis Kelce yardage gets bet upward and then take the under, as we did last year with Cooper Kupp. So I'm surprised nobody's mentioned Kelce, but we've had some great props tonight, and these are certainly good as well. So, okay, we have a little bit more balanced board now. We have 3 people on the Philadelphia money line, and then the rest of the universe on the KC money line. I welcomed in here while we were chatting Adam Bjorn. Adam Bjorn is joining us. He's got the bookmaker side of view on a lot of this stuff. Adam, what's your take on this Super Bowl so far?
So my level of interest in this Super Bowl is probably as low as growing up as a high school student in Australia, not having any idea what NFL was in the early 90s. To me, early in the week, the books were fairly balanced. I had a quick look at some charts of some books that I have access to, and I was sort of seeing this flood of enthusiasm on Kansas City, which, again, if you had to throw in the number at Pick'em to me, I probably would have said KC. But my guess is the house is going to need Philadelphia. I have some good friends in that area, and I also grew up near a city that was a little sports mad, one team city sort of thing. So, I'd much appreciate a Philadelphia win over a Kansas City win, just from, what I understand of the culture up there. But yeah, it looks like the way that this money's starting to flow backwards, that, I'll be cheering on Philadelphia with zero personal interest on the betting side up to this point.
So what is your pick on the side or total then?
So, I'll have to just go with Philly, just whatever their money line is, or -1. When the spreads are around that low, I don't get too wrapped up whether I'm getting +1, -1. I'm just looking to lay the numbers these days. And then on the prop side, I usually have one or two books that just hang some horrors. Seemingly this year they've not done that, but I did still find one book that put up plus 1620 on overtime. So that's what I've dived into at the moment. I know this always gets bet
What
way
a
down
price.
across.
Yeah, that seems amazing.
So that's
1620.
the prop bet
Oh.
that,
Wow.
that's what I've done on this year. But I've been on overtime for the last 20 years because outside of Vegas, no one's ever really understood that this gets priced a little different on
We
the
have
Super
a
Bowl.
we have a really fun setup here because Rufus said tie no after 0-0. And what a setup it would be if Eagles score a touchdown. Eagles are down 7. They score a touchdown at the end of regulation. Does Sirianni go for 2, or does he kick the extra point and go overtime? We'll flip the coin here between Rufus's prop and Adam's prop. I can't believe you got that price, Adam. That's a great bet. My goodness, 1620.
Yeah, it's an annual bet for me. Again, they European, Australian, Latin American books generally price this up the way they price up every game during the year. Usually by the end of it, I can, if I want to, and I've never done it, is take the minus 1,000, minus 1,100 or something like that. But I have way too much gamble in me, and I'm just going to write out the plus side, and hope it comes to fruition.
Nice. So Adam, where are you watching the game from this year?
No idea as yet. I might go into one of the offices here in Costa Rica and take a look. Again, my interest levels on this one is fairly low. I would have liked to have been open in the regulated market to be a bit more enthused about this by this stage, but is building this software in the middle is a hell of a lot harder than placing bets or taking bets. So we're still probably a few months away. And once you miss March Madness and you get into April, then you kind of go, well, why not wait to May or June and warm up for the football again? So that's kind of the mentality right now. But again, looking at the 2 states of New Jersey and Ohio, I think it's, pretty public that we got licensed in Ohio as Planetech, the software company. So now again, it's just going through this process and sort of sitting back and watching the industry implode a little bit, but a few of them starting to work out what to do. The exchanges coming in, obviously I've had a strong opinion on that for a long time. I just want to take bets. So all I want to do is just get open somewhere and start taking bets.
Right. For those of you who don't know, Adam, his Planetech company will be providing the odds for Prime Sports, which is a new sports book brand that's coming into Ohio and New Jersey and probably other states. It's the Circa model. It is the we take on all comers, and we're looking forward to that. We need some of that elsewhere beyond just Nevada, Colorado, and Iowa right now.
Yeah, well, it's always funny because, that's the Circa model that used to be the Pinnacle model, that used to be the Chris model, which back in the day growing up in Australia was the Colin Tidy or Concavitaris or Sportsbet model and stuff like that. It's just taking a fair bet, letting everyone bet, no matter who you are. And again, take a bet, move the number. It's pretty basic process.
Colorado in the future for you, Adam?
I've got zero interest in Colorado. I think it's a way oversaturated market. We could have got in there a lot of books. A lot of books, not that much volume. The style of punter, again, better, isn't, it's fairly bland from what I see. It would have been a super easy market to get into, and we could have been open 12 months ago. For me, I decided why not take the most difficult route, tackle New Jersey, Ohio come along as an opportunity. I sort of see, I'll never touch New York. Taxes are ridiculous. Pennsylvania is similar. So give me a Maryland or a Virginia or something around there. Maybe in Arizona, then you get the people coming across the border in Nevada and the Mexicans and whatnot down there, and then sort of see where it goes from there. But this is a 10, 15, 20-year game, even for me to go forward, and I've done that backwards. These ones that are running in, looking to grab the cash, get out. we're seeing what's happening with those. So I got the time, got the patience, something I didn't have that many years ago. But now just sort of watching it all implode a lot quicker than what I suspected. But again, I've said it many times, 2026 is my first step of being as many states as possible for that World Cup. It's going to be 84 to 100 Super Bowls in a space of 30 to 45 days. One big problem I do see right now is all these states, unless you have a social security number, you cannot open an account or cannot bet. So they need to overcome that. Otherwise, you're going to lose a shit ton of revenue from those, 10, 20, 30 million tourists that are coming in.
I wasn't even aware of that
And then-
until someone out in the Super Bowl or out in Arizona mentioned that, and they're like, I can't even bet.
Yeah. So again, they've got a few years to hopefully get it right, but we'll see.
Excellent. Yeah, we look forward to that. I think there's a lot of change coming in the U.S. sports betting market, and it's probably changed for the better for the sustainability of the market. Hey, Ben Carey. So you've been hanging out here. Let's switch the focus over to you and what plays you have for us. You got to play on the side and total.
Yeah, so I am definitely going with more of a biased opinion on this game. I am a Broncos fan, so I'm just going to be cheering for the Eagles in this one. But the more I think about it and these compelling cases for the Chiefs, it makes me want to change my pick. But I'm going to stay with the Eagles because that's what I was planning on saying. Another thing, too, I mentioned on another podcast is Andy Reid off buys has been spectacular. So in a way, this is like extra preparation time for him, too. So it definitely seems like all things are leading towards the Chiefs in this one. But again, I'm going to cheer for the Eagles. It kind of feels like they're the underdog just as far as the way I look at this game.
Well, now they are actually in the markets.
Wow.
It's shifted from the time we came on the air tonight.
Is what market are you looking at? I'm curious. Because I don't have a screen in front of me. Really, the market making books are evening out right now?
We're Pinnacle still at -1 and Bookmaker still at -1. But we did hear South Point had gone to pick, and there's some other shops in town that were pick, but now it looks like back to -1. So it definitely dipped to pick, and now it's back to -1. I've been giving people, here's the funny thing, is in grading our plays on the show tonight.
We're arbitraging the hell
Yeah,
out
we're going to
arbitrage.
It was KC money line +105 when we started, and now there's Eagles. Then there was Eagles. There's no Eagle +100 out there. I don't know what I was smoking there when I wrote that in. So I got to regrade these. I'm going to give -118 on the Eagle money line because that's the lowest number on the board at a widely available book across the country. So
I thought something truly seismic was happening while I was not looking at a screen, and I was gonna ask everyone I know who's doing this, but that's still interesting. This late in the market cycle that we're seeing, two-way action of that nature is cool.
And Drew, real quick, I wanted to give props to you in that scheduling matrix that you put out. I found a pretty cool way to utilize it. So basically I would circle a few spots where I'm like, this is kind of like the red flag game, right? From a scheduling perspective. And of course, the market, they're baking in a little bit of that stuff, but what I've been able to find is like on opens after, the week of games, you can catch some value before the market kind of moves and they're like, oh, this team's playing their third straight road game or they're traveling cross country. So really cool stuff. Check that out next. I'm assuming you guys are going to do it again next year.
Oh yeah, I put that out every year for like 10 years. That's the most well regarded tweet I tweet all year. And at this point in my life, I'm literally like, I'm just doing this for you guys. I don't even get anything out of this anymore.
Yeah, and I like how you upgrade things to it because I've seen it the last 2 years, I believe. So
okay, cool.
Yeah, good
cool,
stuff.
Cool. All right, good.
Hey Ben, what's your prop play here?
Yeah, so let's go with I have a few cross sport, but they're only on Caesars, so we'll go with something that's more readily available. I'm gonna go with Boston Scott's under rush yards at 8.5. With the game flow, I think if the Eagles do get out to the lead and they are up in this game, he probably flies over this number, but I don't really expect the Eagles to blow out the Chiefs. I think if anything, it's the other way around, and this is coming from someone who does like the Eagles. So I just think that with Miles Sanders and then with Gainwell, I don't see Scott having over 3 rushes in this game unless they do go up and he gets a lot of garbage time. So at 8.5, I think it's a pretty good look. It's not a fun prop. It's one that you literally are just sweating the whole game, right? But I think at 8.5, I'm kind of projecting him to have maybe 2 carries for close to 6. So yeah,
That
both
is
under.
that is available at -110 at DraftKings. So that's what I graded you at -110. Yeah.
I'm going to move on so you can make room for more folks. Thank you guys for having
Thank
me.
you, Drew.
Best of luck to
See you,
everyone.
Drew.
Great to see you guys again. And
Thanks,
best of luck on the Super Bowl, guys.
And then there's
All right.
2 more,
I'm gonna do
Jack,
the
that I
same,
just want to bring
so-
up quickly.
Oh, sorry, who was?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay, was Adams? Was
Adam
down.
had to leave. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Give it
Yeah,
to
so
us.
I'm not a golf guy, but I do know golf people. So I talked to the golf people about this. And on Caesars, if you go to the cross sport section, they have the 4th round birdies at -1.5, -130, or first quarter points +1.5 at +100. So which will be more, basically. And talking to some people who are literally at the Waste Management Open, there haven't been a lot of birdies. And I think there's 66 people making the cut. There's going to be 11-mile-per-hour wind, it seems. And talking to a guy who actually caddies professionally, he said that the pin is 80% chance it's going to move to the back of the green. So I'm expecting 10 points in the first quarter. And he kind of projected anywhere from 7 to 10 birdies, but 7 on the short end. So I like the value with the first quarter points. We're getting +1.5 at +100. So that's on Caesars. But I was really hoping I could talk to Rufus about that. Maybe he's watching, but I'm curious his thoughts on that one.
Rufus isn't watching.
He's driving home from Arizona.
Rufus is betting with both fists somewhere. No, I like that analysis. Inside information on the hole placement on the green is a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm waiting to see if they announced where it's at. I believe they do it tonight. But again, I'm not a fluent golf bettor, so I'm sure there's people out there who know way more about golf than I do. So, but going off the first quarter points, I mean, even if there's 7 points, this could still hit, right? Because I don't think there's going to be 12, 13 birdies.
Yeah, no. Rufus was saying that he thinks with these cross sport props that they're more exciting when it is up against things like birdies than against a round score, which is always going to be like 67 to 73.
Right. Yep.
So he said he really likes it when they do kind of birdies plays. I don't know if he's seen this one. If he comes up for air at some point today or tomorrow, and I talk to him, I'll run this one by you, and I'll let you know, Ben. By the way, Ben does these live streams late at night for hours at a time, analyzing the next day's college basketball schedule. And really, you do quite a deep dive. You do almost like a Greg Peterson type of deep dive into this stuff.
So what's funny is, so Greg Peterson, I mean, he's at a 10 out of 10 on knowledge. Like he could literally give you the starting 5 for Elon, like in about 5 seconds. I'm not that fluent, but what I do know is, I have a good mix of just seeing where the number probably should be, going off our projections, and then using Unabated's odd screen and just kind of combining the 3. So we are originating these numbers, but also, you have to respect the market, right? So we're kind of combining everything. And yeah, the late night streams, they start 10 p.m. Eastern. We kind of go through the games and cover, what college basketball games people want to talk about. And yeah, it's fun. Definitely, there's some value to be had in those periods late at night. So,
and Ben, how many followers are you up to on TikTok now?
You know what? It's slowed down a little bit, man. I think my content, I think they still enjoy it, but there's people who come up on TikTok and they're just ridiculous with like, hey, I have some inside information. Like I got the script, and those guys are kind of taking off, which is sad. I got in at an early time where it was like, okay, like this is knowledgeable stuff, but the algorithm kind of, Thomas will tell you, like
it's hard
because Thomas could probably get more views on videos if he did more like out of the wall, like, hey, but we got to keep it honest and transparent. So
okay, and the last question for you, Ben, is how many hours a day do you spend in this studio you've built here now in your new home?
Quite a few.
and you're freshly
many.
married. So
I am married, and and expecting a boy, which is exciting news. So
congratulations.
That's in August. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to go through football season with the child, but hey, we'll figure it out together.
All right. Hey, I wanted to bring back over to Tony and Kyle here. Plans for the game tomorrow. Are you watching with friends, or are you the kind that says these people are going to talk too much, I need to watch on my own time? How do you guys approach the game?
I'm definitely more of a home watcher for sure. I don't like when there's too big a group. People are talking about commercials and all kinds of random stuff. We just end up with so much action by the time kickoff comes that I don't know. I'm just not much for the big crowds unless it's a serious crowd that, I mean, I don't mind rooting and stuff, but when you got all the side chatter, I'm not much for that.
Can we big screen Big T? I want to see his background because he has some. I'm seeing some cool. I'm always a fan of apparel and stuff,
the big
man.
screen.
That might be.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Scare the viewers away.
It was Jokic. I know I saw something and I was like, I like that. I'm a big Jokic guy, and of course you have the LeBron dunk too. Good stuff, man.
Is that a signed Entourage poster?
It's not signed. I should get those guys to sign it though. That'd be a good idea.
What's your pride and joy back there? Like the one thing you're just like.
I actually like the Kenny Powers one right behind me. If at first you don't succeed, then maybe you just suck. I like that a little bit right
nice. I like it, man.
You achieved the vision that I wanted for my background.
I like Ben's way better than mine. To be fair, I like the lighting better. You got better lighting than me.
Yeah, my wife helped me out, man. She's creative. I need to add some more apparel, some sign helmets or something. But yeah, I like yours too.
That Ben's reporting live from the Matrix. That's how he's so good at betting. He just knows the final score.
I got a bunch of. So we moved recently, and I had an unfinished. I still do, and like I was getting so much shit. Like people didn't want to take my advice because I'm in my unfinished basement, and I'm like, babe, we got to fix this ASAP. So here we are.
It does make a big difference when you're going on a lot, though, for sure. Like when you see the people with the plain background and whether they know what they're talking about or not, like it gives that
yeah, like Rex is one of the smartest dudes I know in this space, but it was pretty blank. I love you, Rex.
Kyle, what are you doing for the game tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll be with a pretty big group of friends. I think I'm more of a watch at home, but I got swindled into some plans, so I'll be watching with a pretty big group. Hopefully, the chatter about the commercials doesn't overcome the actual game. But yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of plain backgrounds, let me bring in two guys that have been waiting in the waiting room here, who both have plain backgrounds.
Dan's face.
Dan
Big T, if you think Ben's got a great background, get a load of this.
It can be anything you want it to be.
Just. There it is. There it is.
Well, you guys missed earlier. We had David Purdom on, and he had a background that I think you take like an ID picture in front of.
It was just a green screen.
Background. It was a green screen, but it was actually green.
Yeah.
So if you want to come get your real ID taken here between now and 2030, when they finally start checking you for it, come on by to New Jersey.
So we have Dan Koob from Sport Trade. Dan does all of their content and does a great job. They have daily shows. They have some very creative social media posts that I'm like, man, that was really good. So yeah, Dan's here with us, and hopefully he's going to be more on the green wave. I know he's going to be on the green wave because I'm surprised he's not wearing like head to toe midnight green. And then we also
I'll suspend the suspicion for you, Captain Jack. I'm on the Eagles.
Yeah,
shocker.
You got the Eagles run going here. I mean, since we came on, the tide has turned.
Here we go.
We ran those guys out. The Kansas City apologists. We ran them out. When Drew Dinsick said that this is close to Mayweather McGregor type of imbalance, I was a little bit. That's a bridge too far. And we also have Jeff Edelstein on from Sports Handle, US Bets, adjunct professor at Rider University. All around good guy. So welcome, guys. Thanks for hanging out there in the green room for a few minutes while we were running. Well, I'm running about 15 minutes behind schedule now.
That's not too bad. You're fine.
Yeah, I mean it's fine. It thins out the rest of the night here. I've paced it out. Dan, all right. I know you're on the Eagles, but go ahead and give us your play. Do you like the money line? Do you like the spread? Do you like the total?
Yeah, well, I've been on the Eagles since all the lines came out, and I know now that it's down to Eagles -1, I like it even more. Eagles -117 on the money line, at least on Sport Trade. Again, I know you guys are quoting widely available books, but I'm a shill. What can I say? They do pay
We'll
me.
give you -117.
So fair enough. So we have it at -117. So I do like a -1. Again, we have it at -2.5. We don't move the line though. Just update the pricing. And I think there's going to be a lot of points scored. I don't think I'm reinventing the wheel with that take. I like the over 49.5. We have it at -127. I like the over 51.5 at +106. I just think there's a lot of points. I do think the Eagles win this game. I think they win it by 10 points. I do foresee like a 34-24 sort of deal. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes scares the hell out of me, just as a completely partial taker of the game. For a prop, Adam really stole my thunder about 15 minutes ago with the overtime prop. He said he got it at +1,600, which was unbelievable.
Yes.
I love that. We had it at 1302, and I thought that was great. So I was sort of scrambling in the green room here trying to find a different prop. So I really do like, will any player score 2+ touchdowns? But I actually like the no on that. We have two-sided market. So that's +153 in our lingo, $39 per share. And I like it for a reason that really doesn't matter. I like it because a player has scored 2+ touchdowns in 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls. The only one that didn't happen was a 13-3 Rams-Patriots Super Bowl. So obviously there weren't even 2 touchdowns scored. Last year, T. Higgins and Cooper Kupp both scored touchdowns in the Super Bowl. Travis Kelce, Miles Sanders could obviously throw a wrench into this, but the Eagles vary their red zone backfield so much. I mean, 3 guys get over 20% of the red zone carries. I'm talking about Boston Scott, Kenny Gainwell, and Miles Sanders. And, to Ben's point, if this thing sort of gets out ahead for the Eagles where, they do sort of become more run focused, they want to keep Patrick Mahomes off the field, they like to vary their backfield looks. They like to mix in those 3 guys, especially once they're within the 30-yard line. So I think you're going to get a couple different Eagles backs getting a decent amount of carries. Miles Sanders is a free agent after this season, and I think they love Kenny Gainwell. In fact, I used to cover the team. I know they love Kenny Gainwell. He's probably going to be your starting running back next year for the Eagles. So I like the varied looks in the backfield there. So I'm going to say no to any 2+ touchdown scorer. I don't think a Kansas City wide receiver would get more than 1. And again, the way they split between Pacheco and McKinnon, specifically in the passing game as well, they haven't scored a rushing touchdown in this postseason. In the passing game, I think they split. So Kelce is the only one I think who throws a real wrench in this plan. And obviously, one would assume he has been the focus of the defensive game plan in the last 2 weeks. And if I could just bring up one last thing and I'll shut up. Ben brought up how great Andy Reid is after a bye. I will remind everyone that he's so good off of a bye that he's 1-2 in Super Bowls and 1-3 after tomorrow. So there you go. I love you, Ben. I'm just joking.
Hey, I'm a Broncos fan, so
I know.
I love it.
I got the message here. Tony and Kyle both have indicated they're heading out. So thank you guys. Pleasure to meet you. Hope to do some more streaming with you in the future.
Thanks
Thanks for having us. See you guys. See ya.
So Dan, I graded you at no player to score 2 touchdowns at +156. That's, I believe, the money line equivalent of the 39 you said at Sport Trade.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Plus money on something not to happen.
Yeah.
Two-sided markets. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that. All right. Jeff Edelstein, welcome in, sir. How have you
Thank
been?
you. Doing good. I'll jump right into it. I have science on my side here. I'm taking the Eagles money line.
It's a green wave now.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I'm being very honest, I'm obviously not a prognosticator of any sort here, but this is a tough game to pick. Obviously, these are 2 teams that are really good. I do think it's going to go over, but I'm going with the Philly money line because, again, as I said, I have science. My daughter, one of my kids, she's 12. She's got autism. You never know what she's going to get herself involved in. And around week 6, she decided that she was going to become the area's biggest Philadelphia Eagle fan. And so we started watching the games. Next thing I know, she drags me to Build-A-Bear. And $50 later, we got Eddie the Eagle here. And She's watched every game since week 6, except their 2 losses. We weren't around for her to watch them. So we're at the point now where, like, if they hate, she's clearly like the reason that they win. So I'm going to go with the Eagles tomorrow. And if they lose, then I'm going to have a crying 12-year-old at 10:30 at night. And I can't abide it. So Eagles money line based on the science. I don't know. It fits.
Okay. I like that. I like that. I wanted to make one point about Jeff is he does a podcast with Eric Raskin called Gamble On. It's my favorite podcast that ends in a preposition. And the last 2 weeks, the guests have been Kenny Mayne formerly from ESPN, now with Caesars, and Chris Christie. And of those 2, one of them knew a real hell of a lot more than I would expect about how the sausage is made with sports betting. And the other one used to work at ESPN. So it was quite interesting, these last couple of podcasts you guys do. But Gamble On is a really good, it's quick, it's fast hitting. I do play it at 1.5 speed. So Eric Raskin is sounds like a munchkin a little bit, but it's a really good show.
I'm impressed because I go pretty fast. I'm not a slow talker, so 1.5 speed is a little bit of a challenge. But
well, I'm usually a 2x guy, and you guys are definitely a 1.5. Spanky is a 4x. So, yeah. All right, let's get your prop play.
I'm going on the other side here. I'm going with Noah Gray, anytime touchdown, plus 900 at FanDuel. The guy's on the field 50% of the time. He's apparently, by all indications, he's a very good player. He may be like in the pipeline to replace Kelsey one day. Andy Reid's drawn things up, and as everyone has said all week long, the way to attack the Eagles, they're weaker on the inside than the outside. So at plus 900, I don't know why not.
900. Okay, I like that. I like that play. That's outside the box. We've got a lot of outside the box prop plays here. Last year, when I went through the kind of recapping last year, I was like, we kept it pretty tame. And then we had a couple Jason Weingarten came in with like a 300-1 on Eric Weddle and kind of threw everything all off. We've been plus money on most of these prop plays this year. So that's impressive.
Another one I liked that I was thinking about going with was, I think it was on FanDuel at plus 440. Will any kicker hit a 55-yarder or more? The plus 440 is probably lousy odds, but I think both kickers are probably going to have a shot at something like that. I think, I do think it's going to be high scoring, and I don't, and they both have hit 60+ yarders in their career. So I think that's a logical expectation that you'll have at least a shot at a long field goal. Yeah, and it's fun when you can root for it all game. That's the other thing.
Yeah, well, and that's what a lot of recreational bettors don't like about betting unders on props is because you live in fear the entire game. They'd like to make it so that hopefully that prop hits first quarter and then they can, spend the money in their head the rest of the game.
I'm reasonably certain I've never bet an under in my life, Jack. So that paints me as Mr. Recreational himself for sure.
All right. Well, all of the sharp bettors appreciate your liquidity in the market. So Dan, I got a question for you. How are you taking in the game tomorrow? Are you going to be able to watch with other people? Do you need to be singular focused on these birds? What's going on tomorrow?
It's a great question. There is a large gathering of high school teammates that are watching it. Ben, congratulations on the news of your son. We have 8-month-old girl over here whose bedtime will be right around 6:27 at kickoff. So yeah. I will be sitting on my couch. My beautiful wife and I will be watching together. She has watched 0 Eagles games this year by her own volition. I have roped her into watching every second of football she's watched. So we're going to watch it together. We're going to have a great time. And then I'm going to go climb some poles in my South Jersey neighborhood when they win.
So we've already had a discussion about greased poles and the origin of greased poles. It was Alex Kane, that gave this, that there used to be a greased pole climbing competition in Philadelphia. And that's why it's a tradition to climb the greased light poles. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it dates pretty far back. And it was pretty dormant. If you're unfamiliar with Philadelphia sports history, they went 27 years between championships. So an entire generation and a half of folks had no idea what anybody was talking about in 2008 when the Phillies finally won a World Series. But it's thundered back. And now, like everything else in Philadelphia, when somebody else hates it, we love it even more. So now we love it even more.
You know, a lot of talk about children, and congratulations to you, Ben and Dan. You got
Thanks,
the 8-month-old. My oldest is 13. He's a boy. He was born in 2009, and I live, outside of Philly myself. I'm not kidding. He must have 6 or 7, 10 of his friends are named either Cole or Chase.
Oh, I love it. Absolutely love
wow.
it.
No
Yep.
joke.
That's
funny.
crazy. Dan, I wanted to ask you something real quick. Do you guys have will the field goal or will a ball hit the post? Do you guys have that up at Sports Trade?
We don't. We do have several special teams related props, but that's actually not one that we've got.
I was very curious, and I'm curious, Jack, if anyone will bring that one up. Maybe not, because the yes or the no is like minus 650, but that was one I was going to bring up because there's actually a little value on it not to hit the post, but who wants to, lay a minus 650 and cheer for that one? It's kind of a weird one, but Jeff, that's a funny one you could, tell your kids about. But yeah, I don't think it's happened in the Super Bowl, but it's one of those where the implied probability, it probably should be closer to like minus 1,000.
Yeah. I mean, look, we earlier tonight, Elihu gave us, will the game land on exactly 7? And he liked the no. He said it should be minus 900. And he said, minus 750 or whatever he was able to find was a good bet.
Yeah.
I agree. I already
Value
played
is
it.
value.
Yeah. Value is value. And it sucks if it lands, it doesn't go your way, but that's sports betting, right?
It is.
I can't wait for a 4-3 final. It's going to be great.
Yeah. That would be a scoregami, huh?
Yeah.
Jeff, what's your plans for the game?
It is family on the couch. Me, my 3 kids, my wife, and of course Eddie the Eagle.
Your $50
bet. I'm telling you, they better fucking win.
You're really invested because if they lose, I mean,
I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah,
you should be all in on the Chiefs for the emotional hedge.
No. Yeah, that's a good point. I've been explaining to her. I'm like, she's like, the Eagles are going to win, right? I'm like, well, they might. She's like, no, the Eagles are going to win, right? I'm like, okay. So that's where I'm at right now. I need the Eagles more than anybody.
So Jeff, I can speak from experience here. 2004, Eagles lose to the Patriots in the Super Bowl. I was 14 at the time. Grounded immediately for weeks for the language that I was displaying as the Patriots continued to go down the field on Brian Dawkins and that Jim Johnson defense. I hope that doesn't happen. I'm just telling you from experience, it could.
I didn't know they disciplined kids for cussing out in Philly.
Well, we were in the suburbs. It was a little different.
Oh, okay.
A little different.
Yeah. Dan,
usually you'd think I'd get a demerit, but usually they just promote you.
Yeah.
Like, you're actually the assistant principal now.
All
Jeff,
right.
I will also say here at DGen House, that Noah Gray prop is really popular. That's been talked about all week in our household.
I like that one. I like it.
Jeff, he has a rushing touchdown too this year. They gave him a direct snap. So
yep, that's right.
Yeah.
Now I'm doubling down on Noah Gray all the way.
Go for it. The DGen House. That's Tom's term of endearment for where he lives. He lives with a couple other sports bettors in there. One of them is going to be on in a few minutes with us. But yeah, they call themselves the DGen House. Guys, we're going to bring in some more people here. And I have to say, this is like the brainiest group that we've got coming on board. So if you're intimidated by this, I'm sorry. I'm a little
Dan and I are out.
Yeah. And I just do content. I'm not sharp.
To counteract it though, we're also bringing in the only woman we have on tonight's 3.5-hour live stream. And I'll just point out that Rob Pizzola did a 4-hour live stream and he had 0 women. So we are so much more progressive here than Pizzola is. But I'm going to bring in Nick Granred. He's Ben's partner over at Capwise. Nick is Ben, is it okay to call him the brains of the operation?
Yeah, it is fair to say that.
Okay. All right.
It is fair.
I'm also bringing in Matt Buckhalter, plus EV Analytics on Twitter. One of the best Twitter follows you can get in terms of somebody who's going to show the work, show what he does when he's solving a play. And then we're also bringing in Dr. Harry Crane, college professor of statistics. And did I get that wrong, Harry? I feel like as I was saying it.
That's right.
Okay. For a second, I was thinking econometrics or something, but yeah, Dr. Harry Crane joining us, and then the lovely Gina Fiore, who's just on here because, Gina, we needed a woman, and we needed somebody who makes us look a little bit better because this is now Nerd City on this screen.
Yeah,
right
you just said I was here to counteract the sharps. I take offense to that.
Oh,
I heard it too.
There hasn't been a whole ton of sharps on this tonight. Like, we've kind of been a very rounded corners in this broadcast tonight. Okay, let's get started though, because we got the full Brady Bunch thing going on right now. So
I feel like I'm on Hollywood Squares here.
Yeah, Dan, hey Dan, you're Alice. That's cool.
fine.
All right, so yeah, everybody stay on the screen for a little bit, just because I like the whole nine wide or whatever you want to call it. It's not the Octobox from the Red Zone, but it's close to that. Okay, let's start off with Nick. Nick was the first in the room there. Nick, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's actually it's my birthday today.
It is really. It's also Peter Jennings' birthday, who's going to be joining us later.
Awesome. Yeah, February 11th, best birthday.
Nick, should we share the birthday room thing just because Peter also has the birthday? About the same birthday of
no,
someone?
people know that. Birthday paradox.
I've never heard it.
So birthday paradox. It's you need 23 people in a room. I think the number is to have a 50-50 chance of a pair of people sharing a birthday.
Oh,
and a lot of people think that number feels very small.
Well, we have roughly like 35 people on the live stream tonight, and we have people sharing a birthday. So
there you go.
There you go.
Proof of concept. Yeah.
But that's sharing today's birthday. I think the paradox is sharing any day.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So, Matt, what's the odds here? What did we just come up with?
Well, we got a 1 in 365 that any given person has a birthday today, so it's pretty rare to have 2 today.
Okay, all right. See, look at this. This is
the best I can do on the fly.
Yeah, this is the brainiest live stream going right now.
I could have said that too.
Matt, if there's 35 people here, wouldn't it be like 1 in 10 that somebody has today's birthday, or am I missing that?
But
yeah, we've already got 2 that have today's birthday, right, Jack?
Right.
Yeah. Well,
I'm betting the over. I got money on the over.
Now, here's the weird thing. I know 3 other people, not including Nick or Peter, that have a birthday today. Something about February 11th must be.
Like 4 million people, so it's a large sample.
What happened 9 months ago is the question.
Exactly. That's what I was just
I was thinking the same. I guess that was.
That was.
You know what it was.
May 11th.
It's like in the middle of May. It's like nothing.
Right. Maybe the weather just got
and maybe that's why, is because there's nothing.
Yeah.
That could be too. All right. Let's get back on track here, because I was getting better on time. Nick, what's your play on the side or total in this one?
Yeah, so I'm continuing the green wave that we've got. I kind of like the Eagles, especially if that's moving back towards plus money or towards even.
Okay, you like the money line or the spread? Or?
Yeah, give me the money line.
Okay, we're giving you minus 118 on the money line.
Okay, perfect. I'll take that.
And you don't really give us much of an analysis on that, but you just like it because.
Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of people are underrating the talent that the Eagles have. I think the offensive line for the Eagles is a big plus, and I think that the front seven that the Eagles have on defense is also pretty big. I know a lot of people are saying that Jalen Hurts and the injury that he has is going to be maybe more of a factor than the injury that Patrick Mahomes has. I don't necessarily agree with that, or at least think that that's a big factor that pushes this in one direction or the other. So I think I like the way that the Eagles match up on both sides of the ball.
Great. We're almost back to even now on terms of. Okay. Anyway, let's continue on. Let's go prop.
Yeah. So prop. I've got a player prop. I like Jerick McKinnon to go under 19.5 rushing yards. I think that's at minus 110 on a bunch of books right now. And there's a couple of reasons for that. So number one, I mean, I think the Eagles are going to win. So game script wise, what I'm expecting is a lot of passing out of the Chiefs, not a lot of rushing out of the Chiefs. The other thing is Andy Reid has coached in 3 Super Bowls in his career. And he's shown a very strong tendency to rely very, very, very heavily on one back in the big game. So most recent Super Bowl, they had 17 out of 18 carries went to Damian Williams, and they're winning against the Niners. In their loss against the Bucks, 9 out of 11 carries went to Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and all the way back in 2004, Brian Westbrook picked up 15 out of 16 running back carries against the Pats. So whether it's Pacheco or whether it's whatever small chance Clyde Edwards-Helaire comes back and is the guy again, it's not going to be McKinnon.
Interesting. Okay.
I also think McKinnon's just a bad running back on the ground in general.
Okay. Nick, you guys at Capwise, you do a lot of NFL projections.
Yes.
Are you happy that the season is over? Like, is it a long?
Yes, I'm like, I love the NFL. I'm very happy that the season's over. The NFL is a slog. It's a grind.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to just focusing on college basketball, heading out to Vegas for a week, and then relaxing for a month before baseball starts.
Good. Get some time off. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, anybody who bets on anything or just hyper focuses on one sport, by the time they get to the end of the sport, and trust me, this has been me many times, you're ready for it to be over. It's just you're just done with it. So that's great. All right, I'm gonna go.
Have to jump, but thanks. Enjoy the game, everybody.
You're the center square.
I know. I'm
You're
sorry.
Like Paul Lynde.
I'm pulling the keystone out. I have to go. I apologize, but enjoy the game, everybody. Go Birds, obviously.
All right, Dan.
And we'll see you on top of the light poles tomorrow night.
All right. Take care. I was ready to play Hollywood Square.
I've got the middle square now.
And we're like the Hollywood trapezoid or something. All right, I'm going to go down to Harry Crane, who looks like Matt put in the private chat. He looks like he's in a bomb shelter for the balloons flying overhead. Hey, Harry, how are you doing?
All right, how you doing, Jack?
I ran into Harry at the launch party for Sport Trade when they launched back in September. Had a good chat there in Hoboken. But Harry, how are you looking at this game? Are you do you got a side or a total you like?
I'll give you a side, but I don't know. I don't know anything about this game, so I'm a bit out of the loop here. But of course I like the Eagles money line, and for no reason, except Philly, of course.
All right.
And I actually I got no analysis for you. I'm not much for. I don't know much about football, and I don't really. It's not one of the sports I really follow. But I will watch the game, or I'll at least try to watch the game. And for prop, I have. Let me look this up here. I have Gainwell to score the first touchdown.
Okay. What line do you have on that?
Let's see. I saw it. I just saw it on FanDuel. I think was plus 2,200.
Hey, we're all about the long shot props this year. Interesting.
I was going to do. I was coming in. I was going to say Gainwell to score a touchdown, but I saw the odds were only 380, so I wanted to go for something something bigger. So, not a sharp play right there.
All right. Well, don't
just for those, just so nobody feels the need to go bet that. There's nothing behind that.
Early in the show, we had Rufus, Elihu, some of the sharper guys I know, and when I asked them for a side, they pretty much were like, "Nah." So then I forced them into picking a side, and they finally did. But anyone who missed the early part of the show, the first 15 minutes, we had stories about going to the Nevada desert and getting high on angel dust, and that's why you missed the Super Bowl that year. So, it's been a wild ride. Hey, Gina, how you doing down there?
Hey, good. How are you, Jack?
So Gina had said that she was just going to copy whatever Roxy said, but
yeah, I did say that.
Roxy's the one that came up with the angel dust story. So I don't know if you want to copy that.
That was too specific. I don't think I could say that. No, I did some research though, because I didn't want to copy anybody. Yeah.
All right. So you have a side you like?
Well, I want the Eagles. I think Eagles -1. I think it's -110 now. It was even money. Yeah, Eagles -1 for no good reason.
Yeah.
Other than I have an Eagles bet from 6 weeks ago for like plus 400. So.
Right. So Gina used the season simulator on unabated.com. What was about 5-6 weeks ago, right?
think it was 6 weeks ago. Yeah, I can look at the ticket later.
And she's like, "Oh, there's value here on Eagles 4-1," and so she bet it. And yeah, so she's sitting pretty with a plus 400 on the game tomorrow, which is better than anything that anyone else has in terms of the side she likes. So
yeah,
very good. So Gina, you did a video and a story for us at the end of December, talking about how your December had gone using Unabated. What's the progress been since then?
Yeah, so January I didn't have a lot of time, so I didn't bet so much, and I started betting off the odds screen for February, and I'm completely getting crushed.
Well,
I think
put that up on the site right away.
Well, I talked to you about it. I think maybe it's becoming more efficient. You know, football's winding down, and they're later in the season. I don't know. I'm not doing great. I think that maybe I need to stop betting overnight so much. I don't know. I got to figure this out. I think I'm just running bad. I don't think something's broken.
No, and with overnights, there's more variance baked in there. So,
right.
It's definitely within probability that you could have a bad run like this. But just to keep it real, that's why I brought that up, because I knew what your answer was, because I didn't want people to think that we're just going to talk about all the good things.
Well, I've been doing good with teasers, so that is counteracting everything that's going on off the odds screen. So that's good.
There we go. Gina, what are you doing for the game tomorrow?
Staying home. Nothing. Staying home with the kids. My kid, other kids, having a Super Bowl party.
Is your house the neighborhood house where the other kids come to?
It is tomorrow. Yeah, we planned it that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
You're gonna have a busy day.
Definitely.
What prop play do you like, Gina?
So mine's a bigger underdog than Harry's, actually, but I think but I actually did some research. So Rihanna's Fenty skincare line, which I'm sure you guys all know about, skincare and makeup, they have a game day collection and everything's pink. So I got Rihanna to come out in a primary pink, like dress or shirt, for plus 2,500 on Bet Online.
That's sharp.
I think so.
That's better than the Rihanna one I had.
I'm gonna go. I'm checking that out.
There was a pink
What were the
lipstick.
odds on
It was
that?
like minus,
What odds did you get on that?
plus 2,500.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Right?
Intermission.
Yeah. Going to set up a Bet Online account.
What about
here.
the first song, Gina? Do you know
I
any
don't-
intel on that?
I have thoughts on that.
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody gave me thoughts. Is David Hill coming on, Jack?
He will be on later. Yes.
He's got some thoughts on that.
Okay.
I don't have an opinion.
Wow. Actually, I think you just gave us what might be the sharpest bet of the night. Like that is
Right. And there's one about pink lipstick, but it was like minus 120 or something. So plus 2,500. Yeah. I don't know. Everybody go Bet Online.
wow. Okay. I can't play on Bet Online anymore because I'm in New Jersey and they block Jersey. But sorry, Jeff, as well. But yeah, that's not bad. Okay. Hey, Matt Buffalo.
No, I can't follow that.
Tough. You're up in the hot seat. No, you just followed somebody that probably gave us a 50-50 shot to win a 25-1.
Come back to me later. How's it going, everyone? Happy Super Bowl.
Happy Super Bowl indeed. Matt, what are you doing for the Super Bowl tomorrow?
Oh, not much. I got two kids, 9 and 6, so they're hopefully they'll be in bed by halftime, and I can enjoy the second half in a little bit of peace. But just be a quiet evening here. Hopefully quiet.
All right, good deal. Do you have a side or total you like in this one?
I'll bring the Chiefs energy back a little bit. I know it swung a little bit in the last half hour or so, but not that I'm some big NFL originator, but I do like the Chiefs in this. I agree with something that was said on the deep dive earlier this week about the Jalen Hurts injury situation maybe being a little bit under emphasized in the market. And it's like if you had a preseason line on these two teams on a neutral, what would it be? Probably Chiefs 4.5. So I just cannot pass up Mahomes as a dog. So I'm going Chiefs money line.
Okay. Yeah, Drew Dinsick was on earlier, and he gave us pretty much that same analysis, and it was compelling. I'll give him that. Definitely. What about a prop play that you like, sir?
So I got two. I'll give you two. They're both a little strange. So maybe you can pick your favorite of these two, Jack. So the first one, I've got the total jersey numbers of all touchdown scorers under 173.5. And that's at minus 111. And so you've got, I think, 3 or 4 people who have jersey numbers in the 80s, Kelsey being one, obviously. But there's really nobody who has any possibility of scoring in the 70s, 60s, 50s, 40s. I think Sanders is, 35? So you really need Kelsey and one of those other 80-somethings to score. Otherwise, you're going to have a hard time getting all the way up to 174. I don't think it's worth that price, needing 2 of those guys to score. So that's one. The other one's a little more out there.
Well, sorry, what was the odds?
That was minus 111.
Okay, and that was under one.
Might be different now.
Okay, under 174.5. You said
under
right?
173.5. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
And Matt, it's different players, right? So if
different players. So if Kelsey scores 3
yeah.
times, that counts once.
Yeah.
The option B, door number 2 for you, Jack, is Goddard, McKinnon, and Pacheco total receiving yards over 199.5. And that is 55 to 1. And if you look at the total, what those 3 guys are lined at total, it's around 90 something total. And when you're looking at sums of kind of fat-tailed variables, summing them makes the tails even fatter, because really any of those 3 guys could go off, and then that'll get you pretty close to that 200 number. So I didn't do any actual analysis behind this, but I just thought 55 to 1 was a nice price for the total receiving yards of Goddard, Pacheco, and McKinnon over 199.5. So Jack, you can pick which one of those 2 you want as the official unabated SuperStream play.
I think the smarter analysis was on that second one, but I'm going to choose the first one simply because it's more unique. But by the way, while you were giving your analysis of that second prop, in our green room, we have Jake Trockelman, who's our lead data scientist, and he was nodding his head emphatically. So,
all right, I'll take it. I should go add more then before he does.
I see him down on his phone right now, so you might have already missed it. By the way, speaking of add more, the line at Bet Online on the Rihanna Pink is now down to 16 to 1.
Yep,
1,600.
I have 14.
14.
Oh, no, I have plus 1,000 now.
I have it locked.
Wow.
You know what? I would go down the board and just bet pink on everything.
Wow. So sorry, Dave Mason. We just crushed your market. I'm actually, while we're talking here, I'm going to bring in another person. I'm going to bring in Gil Alexander, because Gil is a person who knows a thing or two about getting down on some of these novelty props and absolutely crushing markets when he does. Hey, Gil, how you doing, buddy? Oh, he's frozen. A tradition unlike any other is that Gil will have technology issues on the SuperStream. I'm going to take him off, and we'll try to get him back in there in a minute.
Jack, I'm going to hop off. I got to do some studying so I can beat you in this prop contest. So
yes, definitely. All right, Ben. I'll try to pick a hat for you tonight.
All righty. I'll see you.
Ben, before you leave, I think the values on the field in the prop contest picks for Rihanna's first song. Umbrella probably the choice, but I think that there are just too many hits for you not to take the field out of the options chosen for an extra point.
I think you might be onto something there.
All right. Thank you, Ben.
Yep.
We're going to bounce also, Jack. We got some bedtimes to take care of over here.
All right. Well, yeah, that bear is needed.
Take it easy.
So since Ben dropped off, I'm going to say that I believe the first song has been tipped already. And so it's not Umbrella, but since Ben doesn't seem to know, and I know, I'm going to tip it off either.
Hey,
so
Jack, can you let me know what it is?
I believe it
may or may not be helping Ben. I feel like there's no for that.
And here's how big of a Rihanna fan I am. It's the one where she's like Bitch, Where's My Money?
That is what I've heard.
Is that the name of it? Yeah.
That's what I heard.
Which is why I've gone field.
And the best part about it is I will not be watching now I'm going to have to watch the start of the halftime show to see if she's wearing pink, because now this is taken on a whole nother
They
level.
took it down.
Wow. Okay.
I feel strong right now. I feel powerful.
You just made your own CLV, Gina. Good
Yeah,
for
it's
you.
amazing.
So if we've got so much action coming in on pink and the markets move so much, is there a potential other color that we can get in on now?
I didn't know they took the bet down.
Oh, it's full down.
Yeah. But there's still pink lipstick, pink hair colors.
What was the bet exactly? About anything pink or
It was pink primary color of her shirt or dress when she walks out.
Hey, Gil, can you hear us now? No. Anyone who's watched this in the past knows that this happens every year. Next year, I'm sending Tom over to Gil's place, and he can just he can do the live remote. I also welcomed in here Jake. Jake Trockelman is our lead data scientist at Unabated. Now, he does this to us, right? We have daily Zoom calls, and we are in some kind of bunker below his house with like tinfoil everywhere or something. And then when I put him on a live stream with people actually watching, he goes and sets up in like some kitchen somewhere. So, hey, Tom, can you put Jake up to a full screen for a second? Jake, what's that hat you have on there?
Oh, it's an awful dad hat from a college that I didn't go to, but Captain Jack kicked my ass in a in our college football pool, and I notably always wear some very flat build hats in our Zoom meetings against my bunker background. So I was forced to wear this guy. I had to pay for it. Get it here.
That's right. That's right.
Nighthawks, right? Nighthawks.
Lehigh Mountain Hawks.
Mountain Hawks. Sorry.
We beat Duke one year. That's my alma mater. So yeah, Jake not only has to wear a Lehigh hat for this tonight, he has to wear a dad cap, which he is loath to wear. So it looks good. It looks good, man. Tear to my eye. All right, I'm going to try one more time here with Gil. Gil, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. Yes, I can. Okay. Hey, Gil, what did you think about that whole? Right. What did you think of that?
I heard the pink stuff, but which is amazing. But the song stuff? Did I miss the intel on the song stuff?
I've heard it's "Bitch, Where's My Money" or whatever the song that is. Which seems odd to do a lead off.
Well, I heard it's controversy. They play something record first, which is "What's My Name." Then she sings "Bitch Better Have My Money" or whatever, sings, raps, whatever it is. "Bitch Better Have My Money," which of course I know you know, Jack. "Bitch Better Have My Money." But so I think the wording will matter. Yeah, I know you wrote it. No, so I think the wording matters, right? So I think it's the first that she does live.
Okay. All right. Cool. Hey, Gil. One of these years we're gonna have this connection and it's gonna work right away. One of these years.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm sorry, man. Apologize. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah, there's this thing they have now called routers that are like powered by something other than a potato you can get. Might help.
Thank
hey,
you,
Gil.
Tom. I knew I could.
While we have you, can you go ahead and give us your pick and then your prop play?
I'm taking the Chiefs, but it's not like a super conviction bet. I just don't want to bet against Patrick Mahomes. And then what's it? A dog play? Is that that's the? I played Travis Kelce 2+ tons at plus 500, 5-1.
Okay.
Just because I think he is, even though they know it's coming, they can't stop it.
That's a good one. Now, this actually you're going against Dan Koob from Sport Trade, who was on earlier. He's betting on the no player will have 2 TDs. So you're betting against it slightly with Kelce getting 2 TDs. If any player is possible to get two TDs, I think Kelsey's probably at the top of that list. So getting a nice 5-1 return on that seems to be a decent play, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's most people have fewer props than they usually do, but that's the case for this year.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, Gil, I don't know if you caught the first 20 minutes of our broadcast, but we had a classic Roxy on Angel Dust in the Desert story as to why he missed the Super Bowl that year.
Well,
he was in the desert with some lady friend doing some angel dust and missed the Super Bowl.
As
only
you know,
Roxy
it can
could.
It can get pretty. It can get pretty out sometimes. I'm glad it stopped there. Let's put it that way.
Right. Yeah. No, I've heard some of the other stories that are not safe for air unless we want to get an explicit tag.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Gil, I hope you can hang out for a little bit here and want to interject anything you hear as this goes on, or if you need to go, that's fine too. But I thank you again for joining us, and I want to get over to Jake. And so, Jake, you are a lead data scientist here at Unabated, and I know you've got a pretty good betting portfolio now as well. So, who do you like on the side or total, as well as a prop play?
I do want the Eagles to win just to see Philadelphia burn and all the grease pole climbing. It's just going to be great. But I do, and I like their roster better, but I am on, I'll take Reed and Mahomes. Otherwise, I think the rest of the roster is better for Philly, but I'll take KC moneyline. There was a red wave earlier when I was listening in before putting the kids to bed, but I'm back on KC now. All right, we'll flip it back to KC. And then my prop bet I've got is I actually did do a little analysis. I know Matt said he didn't. I pulled one up a little bit today, and it said total points versus longest field goal, which is longer. And I'm on total points, or which is more, total points at -135. So I just pulled up. I looked at the distributions of these two things earlier today of just field goals where they get made at, and then also how many points we have in games pegged near 51, and those distributions were a lot further off than I thought that was priced at. So that's where I went.
All right. So what were the odds on that total points? Were you getting any extra yards on that or points?
No, total points versus longest field goal. It was -135 total points.
Okay. Great. I'm going to put that up on the screen so everybody can see that. That's they look pretty solid as well. So now we went red wave. We had green wave. The mail-in ballots were counted, and now it's back to a red wave again. So pretty streaky here in the SuperStream tonight in terms of who people like on the game itself. And then prop plays, they're all over the map this year. This has been great. Hey, let's do something here real quick. We're going to go back to the Brady Bunch screen as long as we have Gil, and everybody get real quiet, okay? Because the person coming in, it's their birthday, and they don't know they're about to be on a live stream. So, hey, Peter Jennings, happy birthday! Surprise!
Hey, guys.
That didn't quite work. But hey, Peter, get this, man. You're not the only person on this screen with a birthday today.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Nick from Capwise, it's his birthday as well. What are the odds of that? We already kind of had the discussion of what the odds are, actually, because we got Matt and Harry in here and Jake. That wasn't a question that was easily solved. But happy birthday, Peter. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, stoked to be here, and happy birthday, Nick.
Yeah, happy birthday, Peter.
I hope you had a great day. It's a beautiful day here in Colorado. So stoked to be with you guys. Been watching the stream, and tomorrow's going to be a blast.
Absolutely. Who do you like, Peter?
I'll go with the over. There's still a 50.5 out there. I normally hate to bet overs in Super Bowls, but I do think that this could be a more pass-heavy game. So shopping at the Unabated, there's still some 50.5s. Most places are at 51. The Unabated line's at 51, but over 50.5, I still feel pretty good about. Go ahead.
I'll just interrupt you real quick. The cool thing was we had Chris Andrews on from South Point, and he remarked that the Westgate had just gone to 52, And then you see Vinny Maiolo come in behind him and ask him something. And Chris says, no, they're at 52. We're going to stay at 51.5. And then while he was talking to us, he had a big bet on the under at 51.5, even though Westgate was at 52. It was kind of fun to just see like bookmaking happening on the stream while other people were talking. So I thought it was kind of cool. You know, maybe that's just me, but Peter, what do you like in a prop play?
Kadarius Toney, first catch. This originally was in the 10-1 range. I checked like an hour or two ago. I was able to find 8-1, which is not nearly as good as 10-1, but I still feel pretty good about that. All signs are that he's healthy. It's first catch for the Chiefs.
First KC catch. Okay.
Correct.
Interesting. That is, there's been a lot of debate on whether he's healthy for the game, how long he'll play, even if he is healthy. So, but I mean, he'll probably play long enough to get the first catch. So maybe that's a little, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely worry about him staying healthy the whole game, but I do think they'll try to get him the ball when he's out there.
Hey, Gil, are you still with us?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Last season, last Super Bowl, you had a big point about touchback versus no touchback. The Pat McAfee market influence. Do you have any feeling on touchback versus no touchback this year?
I think it's generally priced correctly because both teams have pretty much the exact same touchback rate, which is right around 65%. I think generally it's priced correctly. And it moved a little because people have the notion that the ball in the Super Bowl is different. And so I think that accordingly to that. But I didn't touch it this year. That actually eliminated a lot of props for me, the touchback part, but the fact that both teams are likely to defer. So that would have produced, if it was different, sort of one was a deferring and one was a, receiving team, a whole bunch of other prop bets, I think. So I have a lot for this year as a result of that not being in play. But the touchback seems to be priced correctly.
Okay. Yeah. That I agree with that. Yeah, that was a question in the chat actually from Ben Carey, who had said, let's get Gil's thoughts on that. So Peter, you said you've been watching some of the live streams so far. What do you make of this KC versus Philly, the red wave, green wave that we've had in our guest tonight?
I mean, it makes sense. It's a compelling game. I feel like no matter what's going to happen tomorrow, we'll all be sitting there saying, oh, of course the Eagles are going to win this game. They're the better team. They have a better roster. And if Kansas City's winning, it's like, duh, Mahomes is a much better quarterback. Why would you ever bet against Mahomes? So I think it's a really compelling game. The people I respect the most. I mean, Matt Davidow is talking about it. He makes the game basically a pick 'em. The market has kind of swung in that range with the Eagles hanging on as a slight favorite. We'll see what happens in the markets tomorrow. But yeah, it's a very compelling game, hopefully an exciting game. And it's not surprising that there are people on both sides. I mean, it's a very, very close game. And the Mahomes health thing is another big factor that I think, most reports are pretty good, but that's the thing I'm most interested to see is just how mobile he is in tomorrow's game.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, Matt Buckhalter, there was a question in the chat. Where was that combined 200-yard play from?
That was actually at the Bodog for me. I think it's Bovada for you guys in the States under requested specials. I think it is. They have like 100 or so of them. And it was, they're sorted by odds. If it's still there, I haven't checked recently, but I think it's plus 5,500 under there if it's still there. They had some pretty good ones. Like they have a bunch of really lousy value ones. But if you just click through that list, there's some unique stuff on there, and there were a couple of places where you could find value.
Jake, question for you. When Matt was giving that play, I saw you in the green room and you were nodding your head furiously. Do you focus on plays like that where there's possibility for tail events to, show value?
I mean, I've just found in general, adding random variables together, sometimes books don't really account for the price of the tails there. So as he was saying that with those fat tails addition, but the statistician in me was just shaking my head and very much agreeing. Yeah. So I didn't see anything like that. I did a quick search to find my prop, but yeah, I've even requested this on our props tool, I think, because someone mentioned trying to get some of those bonus boost bets or whatever, like adding Luka and LeBron points. And I was like, well, our tools can't do it, but if we could, rejigger it a little bit behind the scenes, we could. So that's something that I think is always kind of mispriced a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. Harry, when I saw you back in September, you were in Tennessee at the time. Are you still in Tennessee? Are you back in New Jersey? Where are you at these days?
Now I'm in an undisclosed location.
The bomb shelter. Yes.
I'm told. Are we under? I think we're under an alien invasion, according to my friend of mine with these balloons. But I'm still in Tennessee right now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Question for you: is the betting better in Tennessee than it was in New Jersey? Here's the thing: New Jersey has more outs. Tennessee's got some things out there that are like they're exploitable places. And have you been finding your profitability?
Well, there's the payday loan place
Right.
that runs a book now, and I think anybody can pretty much open a book. So yeah, I mean, you have kind of these one-off shops that are good to go to every once in a while. But I guess so you have that. I guess on the flip side of it, we don't have the exchanges, which I don't. I haven't been following how helpful that is for you to have there. But it seems, based on what some of the things I've seen you write, that you're enjoying that quite a bit. So yeah, I'd say it's probably a wash, but I'd probably still give the nod to Jersey, but I'd say it's close. Yeah.
I would say unequivocally for me that the exchanges are the best things to happen to the consumer side of sports betting since the repeal of PASPA. And it's actually not even close. Now, will this continue? I don't know. Like the exchanges are not making money. The market makers on the exchanges are not making money. And I don't know how much tighter it can get. A good exchange is an inch wide and a mile deep. That's something Dean from Profit Exchange has said before. And the New Jersey exchanges have been an inch wide and a mile deep. And so there's been a ton of liquidity in a very narrow straddle market. I don't know if this can happen elsewhere. I don't know if it can keep on happening in New Jersey, but for now, yeah, they've been really great for bettors.
Is that happening? Is the depth, are they mostly just seeding the market? These market makers are for the moment trying to generate liquidity or generate volume at this point?
They're aggressively seeding the markets on Sport Trade, probably more than Profit in terms of the numbers that they're posting and the liquidity that they're posting. But yeah, they're definitely trying. Now I've already seen some pullback. The straddles have gotten wider. They're taking down some in-game later in the game, earlier in the game than they had been previously. But it's all part of the growing pains, I guess. But beyond exchanges, another good state is actually Colorado, where Nick is out there. Nick, do you feel like Colorado is the best state to bet in?
Colorado is the only state that I've bet in.
Okay.
So I don't know if I'm qualified to answer. Yeah, absolutely yes.
Good. So you mentioned you were going to head out to Vegas for a little bit of R&R after the NFL season is done. When do you start working on next year's NFL numbers?
It depends. Probably a couple months before the season starts, just as far as making sure that code is cleaned up and good to run, and that any data sources that might have changed things about them, just getting all that cleaned up and taken care of. I mean, that's like the biggest headache that I have is dealing with data sources and like, oh, we changed the way that this is labeled or the way that what this variable is called, and then everything breaks. So yeah, just a month or two ahead of time, just making sure everything is good.
So
to go.
about midsummer then, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, great. Now, if anyone needs to drop off, that's fine. I love this Brady Bunch thing that we do here when we have 9 of us, but I also understand that, like, people have things to do. It's a Saturday night. So if anyone needs to drop off, feel free. Here's a look at the plays we have so far. Jake's waving goodbye. Thank you, Jake.
Thank you, Jack. I'm sorry to ruin the Hollywood squares, but thanks a lot.
Hey, I'm going to just get one last look at that hat. Oh, that's a beautiful hat. I love it. I love it. We beat Duke one time. All right. Thanks for stopping in. But yeah, I wanted to bring up the plays here just so anyone who's joined us late can kind of go through and see what we had. Started off with Rufus, and it was a red wave of all KC bettors. And then by the time we got into our midway through our second hour, we started to get some Philly money line bets coming in here, and even a Philadelphia -1 from Gina. So, and then Peter came in with a total play, which we hadn't seen a total since Roxy back in the very first 15 minutes. So, yeah, we're looking pretty good there. Let me bring in Aaron Kessler, who's been kind of standing by there in the green room while we were chatting about back to the Hollywood squares here. Aaron, former bookmaker. He is a resident of the DGen house with Tom. Aaron, how you doing tonight?
I'm pretty good. Just enjoying my second Super Bowl as an adult civilian.
Nice. So, how is it different now that you're not making book?
Well, for one, I'm not locked in a room all week trying to come up with props last week. So, not having that 12 hours a day, 4-day, 5-day week, doing it all by myself is appreciated. But all the same, I do kind of miss it a little bit. There's always that really nice sense of achievement when you put the packet out.
Yeah, no, I would imagine that's so. When you put together a prop packet, I know from talking with the guys over at Westgate that it's basically, like you said, you lock in a room for 72 straight hours basically to come up with this prop packet so you can get it out in time. Is that what it was like for you when you were trying to make a prop packet?
Yeah, I mean, I would just take myself off the schedule and throw myself literally in an office upstairs, and I would come out when they were all done.
Yeah. And then you may make 399 perfectly priced props, and then that one that you blinked on, that's the one that everyone remembers, right?
Yeah, it's always something like that, or you type the wrong thing into the computer. I know one year we had it was supposed to be first catch and it was longest catch, or the other way around, but it was flipped and stuff like that. It will happen, but you hope no one's going to take advantage of it too badly. And, it is what it is. You're going to miss something.
It is what it is. Yeah. And speaking of what is your play for side or total in this game?
Well, I'm going to let all the people who are smarter than me be the ones who can take the bullet betting against Patrick Mahomes. I'll take Kansas City on the money line here.
Okay.
To be fair, you're not betting on Patrick Mahomes. You're betting on your favorite coaching mastermind of all time, Matt Nagy.
Hey, I got to go, guys. That's what it be.
Do we just hit a sore spot from your housemate?
I would be glad to go into the closet and grab the Fire Nagy jersey, but that prophecy has already been fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
We're actually going with the jersey of next year's Super Bowl winning quarterback today.
And who is that?
That's Justin Fields, sir.
Oh, okay. The orange was kind of coming through. I wasn't sure if that was a Denver orange or a Chicago orange. It was
nope, no Denver here.
All right, good. Aaron, do you have a prop play for us?
Yeah, let's go with one guy that a lot of people aren't talking about. I'm really mad at myself because earlier when I saw first touchdown open up, we had a book that opened up every player, and this person was in the field, and the field was 90-1, and I did not bet it. But given the reports, I think he's going to be active. I like Clyde Edwards-Helaire first touchdown, and you can get 40-1 on the field some places.
Okay. And that's
Plus,
that first
nice
touchdown
thing
of the
is-
game or first KC touchdown?
First touchdown of the game. The other nice thing is if you check the book you use for whether or not player must be active for action, you may be in a very good situation because if he is active, 40-1 I think is a great number.
And if he's inactive, then it's just a void, right?
Exactly. You can win twice.
Interesting. Very interesting. Man, our prop screen here tonight, this is all over the map. I love it. I think it's great. Just a ton of positive odds props that are being attempted here tonight. So, Aaron, what's your plan for the game tomorrow? Do you have to tolerate Tom for the game and watch it there, or are you getting out of the DGen house?
We're going to go see some friends for the game. I may see a couple of you there.
Oh, you're are you headed over to the Rufus Skypad party?
Yeah, I'll be there. It's
all right.
Went there last year. I think they did well, so I'm going to hope to bring some good luck once again.
Okay, yeah, Now, mind you, Rufus is betting nonstop for like 72 straight hours, so he's not actually hosting anything. Like, I think you're lucky if he orders a pizza for you. But you get to watch the game, and I think there's plenty of alcohol involved. And yeah, it sounds like it's a pretty good scene. I'll have to make it out there one of these times for.
Yeah, it'd be great to see you, Jack.
Their prop watch party. Yeah, so that'd be great.
Now, Aaron, sorry to interrupt you there, Jack, but Aaron, of course, every year around Christmas time, you do make odds on anything on Twitter, and for every number you put out, you donate to $1 to a charity. I've got a Super Bowl make odds on anything for you if you're willing to come out of retirement for it.
Absolutely.
I need a prop line here on passing touchdowns in the game, both teams combined, versus UFOs shot down this weekend.
Give me passing TDs -2.5 -$1.60 and call it a day.
We're already up to 3, so we'll see.
Yeah,
I'm going for this weekend going forward.
Oh, okay. I was counting already shot down, but
I know this isn't a live prop. We don't do in running. That costs extra.
Yeah, Matt earlier tried on Twitter. He tried to do UFO shot down versus Mahomes. What was it, TDs or interceptions? I forget which.
Interceptions. You intercept the balloons. You intercept the passes. It's a whole thing.
Now the question is, once we identify them, do they lose UFO status? Like, does that take one off the board since it's been identified?
It's a great question.
Check your sportsbook manager. Check your house rules. This is all very important to know.
Check your house rules. And even if you check the house rules, sometimes they don't get followed. There's a couple people on here that know all about that.
No comment. I can't comment on pending litigation.
Yeah. 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 Okay. No, Aaron, that was great. I appreciate it. Yeah, this game is shaping up to be very strange in terms of our screen here. I just want to pull this back up one more time. It's all over the map, and there's a definite. I haven't counted these up. Tom, have you counted these up as to how many guests have been on KC versus on Philadelphia?
I will get right on that here.
All right. Well, you do that. I'm going to bring in. We're going to try to do 10 people on the screen at once here, because we're bringing in the funniest man on gambling Twitter. There's no question who it is. It's Andy Molitor, everyone.
Oh, Jack, you sweetie.
Did you remodel already?
No, I'm just down at the office. I just went ahead.
Oh, okay.
Part of a bottle of wine. I forgot what time I signed up for. I legitimately scrolled back through a bunch of these just to try to find the DM. And then, of course, 5 minutes later, you DM me and like, oh, hey, you're at this time. Good. I remember because it's been I was in Scottsdale for a couple days, and my brain's still in the blender here.
You look like you got a little sun.
Yeah.
And, hey, you're in Minnesota, and the sun must stay out later. It's still out there. That's amazing at 9 p.m. Central Time.
Yeah, I packed sunscreen. I just didn't put it on. So, but otherwise, it's a good weekend. It's going to be a good weekend here for sure.
All right, Andy, have you been watching any of the live streams so far tonight? You can say no.
I've caught some of it, but I was out at the bar for a little bit, so I didn't catch most of the beginning. I did see the chart though. Jesus, it's everybody's kind of on one side there.
Well, it's it goes in waves. It's like an election. But so early on, the highlight was an angel dust story from Roxy. I think I've brought that up enough times now. I'll stop bringing it up. Drew came in and provided us with a very convincing and almost a little bit mean-spirited why he was on the Eagles or why he's on Kansas City. And then he dropped the line of the holy grail that is Mayweather-McGregor and said that this could be mentioned in the same breath as Mayweather-McGregor.
He's very sure on this. I mean, we were both kind of in the same boat before the look headlines came out. Even we were both kind of in the same boat of Kansas City -2, kind of in that range, and that's not where the steam went when the line started open.
No,
and he's still sore about that.
So, and I mentioned this when he was on, but I was listening to the Deep Dive podcast last summer, and you guys do a different team for an hour all summer long, and you did the Philadelphia Eagles, and I was like, oh, I'll listen to this. It was actually you were live. You do it live to YouTube, and I was doing some other work, and I decided I'll listen in, and I was amazed. You guys realized together mid podcast that, oh shit, things could line up where the Eagles' schedule is easy enough, and if the NFC has to run through Philadelphia, that's enough of an advantage. That you said, Eagles NFC championship is a great bet. So kudos to you for figuring that out early and getting down on it. I think there was also some Jalen Hurts MVP numbers that were thrown about that night as well. Do you even remember that, or you just do so many podcasts that it's all a blur?
You do too much content, honestly. Like, you forget so much of what you say. We went back and listened to a lot. We have a good producer now that is able to take a lot of notes while we're doing stuff, so you can go back and find clips of that when we're actually right, or he likes to find clips of when we're hilariously wrong. Those do better. People love that stuff. But we did have some Philadelphia Eagles most wins, Philadelphia Eagles 1 seed. Those were kind of props. There weren't big limits on stuff like that, but we kind of gave it all out. We said Sirianni, Coach of the Year, has some legs, which I guess winning 1 game in the division is good enough for Coach of the Year nowadays. Good job, Mr. Dable. I love him to death, but I was just sore because I had good Sirianni numbers. But yeah, no, it's nice to be right about something once in a while. And now I'm kind of in the same boat. I have some Chiefs futures. There was a book that had an off-market number before championship weekend for Chiefs to win the chip, and I ended up taking some of that and then some of the Chiefs to beat the Eagles exacta price at that book. So I've basically stayed off the side because I'm already sitting on some decent Chiefs numbers, and I say that, but I also took some plus 120 just because I felt hilarious. Like, why does this keep going one direction? I end up taking some Chiefs plus 120, but. So, I mean, if I had to bet the side or the total right now, I'm probably on the over. Like, I've just run through game state, and I just keep running into over game state. So
You want me to put that as your
up at a couple places now again?
Do you want me to put that as your play here? As
the over. I'll take the over. I feel like everyone did a side. I'll do a total.
Now Peter was able to find 50.5. Peter, was that at a widely available place?
It was Bovada when an hour or two before. Let me just see. There's 50.5 at FanDuel, but it's minus 118. BetMGM's minus 115. Bovada's now 51. Points bet I'm showing 50.5, but that might be stale.
Also,
okay. I'm going to give him 50.5 on the screen here.
We'll take 50.5. It'll go into the 60s. That won't matter.
Gil, are you taking off there? I believe.
I gotta go. Sorry about that.
See you, Gil.
No problem.
Technology. Thanks for having me.
No problem, Gil. Thank you.
I'm taking off too, Jack.
Oh, we're losing center square as well? Okay.
Yeah.
Gina, by the way, I think that was the play of the whole live stream. If it wins or not,
I feel good about it.
You caused the
They've
book
taken
to
them
take
down.
down their lines.
Awesome.
They say no one man can have all that power. They don't mention women, so you're
Good point, Matt.
you're cool.
All right.
I got to drop off too. Time for some fresh blood.
Thank you, Matt.
Enjoy the game, everyone. Thanks for having me, Jack.
Great job. It's a great job. Thank you.
See you guys.
I've also got to hop out.
Okay, Nick, happy birthday, my friend.
Yeah, thank you, and thanks for having me on.
Why were you guys hopping out when I was trying to get into the damn room and it said it was full? I tried like 3 times to get in. It's like, oh, there's too many people in here.
Don't worry. We
I
had
blame
in Rob Pizzola. And hey, Rob, we'll get to you in 1 second. We just got to get Andy's prop play here. Let's, Andy, what do you like on prop side?
It does keep getting bet up. And it's funny. I talked about this earlier in the week with Rob, but there's 293s on Mahomes yardage. And again, I'm of the mindset that I do have the Chiefs first half kind of Chiefs into halftime with the lead, slow first, slow second half maybe trends under. We still get the game total over, but less passing, shorter passing, more maybe some wide receiver screens, a little more running, a little more Pacheco would be nice. I have some Pacheco 150 to win MVP from a couple weeks ago, which would just really tickle me in all the right ways if he had two first half touchdowns. So, but Mahomes passing yards under
293.5, you said?
293.5 is pretty widely available.
Okay. Very nice.
It's one of those things where you sit and think, well, how in the world is the best quarterback going to go under? So he goes under the total all the time.
Mhm.
Or just go look at Chiefs against the spread. Like, oh, how are the Chiefs not going to cover? Yeah, they're actually horrible against the spread. You get the Mahomes tax. So I don't do a lot of prop modeling, but I spent a little more time on it this week, and it's a bet I made. So
okay, excellent. I appreciate it. That's some good information there. And so now we have two people on the over, one person on the under, a wave of bettors on the Kansas City money line, and then a wave against them on the Eagles money line. This is very balanced. I like this. Hey, Rob Pizzola, you did a live stream for 3+ hours just a few days ago, and I think I counted you had like 17 guests or so.
23 in total.
All right, you are guest number 35 on this live stream. So,
trying to show me up.
Yeah.
I mean, this is done in a different way. You got the multiple screen format. I tried to separate people as much as possible, to each their own type of thing. I had 3 on screen at once, which was had to get Kanish out of there really quickly because he's getting on my nerves. So yeah.
But no, I think everyone that's watching this is probably aware Circles Off podcast has become one of the premier gambling sports betting podcasts these days. Just tremendous content each and every time. A clear show that it's a clear showing that they're prepared for each guest. Like there is always good questions, good line of questions, good discussion. It's really pretty good. It's almost professional in terms of like the quality. So Rob, thank you for your work in the Circles Off podcast.
I appreciate that. Just a few weeks ago as well. And yeah, we try to, I'm not there to ask questions that people already know the answer to for the most part. Right. I think that's not a compelling interview. So I mean, the one with Fezzik recently, there was certainly some back and forth, a little bit uncomfortable at times, but ultimately it was very well received. I mean, I'm happy to do it. I enjoy doing that stuff.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the Fezzik podcast. Look, I have a lot of respect for Fezzik. I've known Fezzik for years. I learned a lot of what I know from Fezzik back when he was on Wong's site, and but Johnny definitely went at him a little hard. That was interesting to watch. It was a good back and forth, and I think it was very professionally done. It wasn't like a hit piece at all. So anyone who hasn't checked that episode out, definitely check it out.
It's good to have a little uncomfortable on a podcast now and then.
Sure.
You can't let Jeff and Rufus have a monopoly on that.
Oh, did I forget to invite Jeff tonight? Anyway, Rob, give us your play on the side or total on this one.
So you're forcing me. I'm going to let the people know that you're forcing me to give a play on the side or total because I haven't personally bet the side or total of this game. Okay. But I'll take the Eagles on the money line.
We'll give you -118 on that right now.
That's what I see. FanDuel -118. In Ontario, we do have a book -115. But we'll go with the consensus here. I honestly. I don't see much value in the number personally. This is more of a subjective opinion on how I think that the game is going to play out. But I think a lot of the arguments I've heard stemming from the Chiefs camp, I mean, there's a lot of cases that can be made for one specific game. But I think people are really calling into question the fact that the Eagles had an extremely easy schedule this year. They didn't have too many times where they were battle tested or trailed in games. And when they actually did, like that Monday Night Football game against the Commanders, they weren't able to work their way back from behind. For me, I just think the Eagles, aside from quarterback and tight end, are just a very, very complete football team. Like if this is, they're the model of how you'd want to build a football team, which is get yourself an above average quarterback, doesn't have to be elite, on a rookie deal, and just surround him with talent and depth at every position.
and they're so strong on the offensive line. Their defensive line, they can rotate in 7 or 8 different players, give guys snaps off, series off. Their cornerback play is fantastic across the board. I don't see where the Chiefs have this major discernible edge other than obviously the maybe the best quarterback I've ever seen. I'm also not buying into like the Andy Reid is that much better than Nick Sirianni type of, argument either, where Reid has a lot of experience. I think he's a great coach. Obviously, an extra week to prepare. That has been something, the Andy Reid off a bye week that people talk about. But Pro Football Focus, Eric Eager has done studies into coaches and their decision-making in game, and no coach made better decisions this year than Nick Sirianni. And we see it all the time with him going forward on 4th down on his own side of the field. I mean, just a couple weeks ago, Andy Reid was punting on 4th and 6 at like the opposing 35-yard line. It's, there might be like a hidden edge for the Eagles in that game from a coaching perspective that no one's willing to talk about, just from an in-game decision-making perspective. So I don't want to, obviously I'm making my point here on Philadelphia. I don't have a huge numbers edge or anything like that, but subjectively, I think Philadelphia is going to win the game. So I'll play them on the money line here for the purposes of making a pick.
Man, Rob, you do such a good job of like building your case. Like if you wanted to be a tout with a narrative, you'd make a strong case. And Drew Dinsick does a great job too. So I would have, Andy, how good would it have been to like put Rob and Drew head to head and, state their case?
It sucks with these, how we have 2 weeks and you get to hear these same things over and over. And like, there's so many smart people making both cases for both sides. And like, yeah, it's the more I look at it, if you want to throw some of this stuff in and kind of update your number based on the injuries and what we've gotten from, Gay Sneed, the wide receivers, how you think Jalen Hurts is coming back off that shoulder. If you think he re-injured that in the other game, like there's a decent case that this game is just a pick 'em. And like, you should just be picking off props instead and looking at this side or total. And probably that's where it's at. It has taken a little bit of action over the course of today. You've seen some books move a little closer to Kansas City. Obviously, Rob, like you said, you can get 115 on the Eagles. That hasn't been around for very long, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's really good. Rob, what's your prop play?
All right. I mean, I have a few prepared here, but for the one that we're going to put down, this could be at any sports book, widely available, right, Jack?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll do a cross sport prop for tomorrow.
Hey, all right. We haven't had one of those.
Hockey.
Available at DraftKings under the cross sport specials, NHL, NFL section. I will take the total goals in the Anaheim Vegas Golden Knights game at plus 145 versus the total punts in the Super Bowl. So for transparency purposes, I'm projecting 6.86 goals as my average for the Ducks and Vegas Golden Knights tomorrow. That's a little bit off market where I would lean to the over on what are the overnight prices right now. Anaheim is the worst defensive team in the history of the NHL. That's not an exaggeration. On a goals against per 60, they give up the most actual goals. On an expected goals against per 60, they give up the most expected goals per 60 since we've been tracking these metrics in the mid 2000s. There's a high likelihood that we're going to see goals in this game. My median for punts in the game is 7. Priced at plus 145 on this prop. I think that's just completely mispriced. We should be seeing closer to like a plus 115 in this type of scenario. So I'm going to leverage my my bread and butter, which is hockey, and the market prices that are out there for punts right now, and throw those together. And I think that this is a pretty valuable bet. So that's what I'll go with for this one, Jack.
Excellent. Cross-board prop. Love it. Aaron, I understand you have to leave us. Thank you so much for your time with us. That was very good insight as well. So good luck to the Bears next year.
Thanks very much. Thanks for having me, guys. Hope to see you all soon. Except Tommy, I see you enough.
See you in a few minutes, I guess, right? Okay. Let's bring some more blood into the room here. Blood? I don't know. All right, we've got an all-star crew coming in right now, and then there's actually a Rufus sighting here as well. So, welcome into the stream. We got a poker player in here, guys. That's how diverse we are. We're going to bring in Andrew Nemi, probably the best vlogger I know. Okay, and I'm not using that as hyperbole. If you haven't checked out Andrew Nemi's vlogs on poker, you don't even have to really be a fan of poker to just enjoy his cinematography, his approach to it all. He's been getting into sports betting, been talking to him, so invited him on the stream here. Andrew, thanks for joining us.
Hello, guys. How's it going?
Great. We're doing good. We've been going for 3 hours and 14 minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what kind of night it is.
Yeah, you guys are on the grind, and now you're bringing in the poker players to really get to the bottom of the barrel in terms of the value to deliver to your audience.
Hey, look, how many poker players do you know as you're sitting there at a table that are talking sports betting while they're playing poker?
I think there is a very high crossover.
Right.
I think level of sharpness, not so much, but definitely interest. Yes.
Excellent. Andrew, we're going to get your prop play and your play on the game very shortly. I also want to welcome in Jason Weingarten, Spreadopedia. Jason, how you doing there, buddy?
Pretty good. How's it going?
Good. I wanted to have you and Drew Dinsick on at the same time, just to have like a Lebowski off. But
To prove that we're different people. We've met in person. We've compared hair. It's very
Yeah, we took a
he has
picture
nice
out in
hair.
Vegas just to prove they're different people.
Nice. Jason, what are you grinding?
Oh yeah,
these
you were
days?
there too, Andy. I forgot about that.
What, Jason? What sport are you
Sorry,
grinding?
what did you say? I missed what you said.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now I hear you.
Okay. What I know you're always grinding an obscure sport. What sport are you grinding right now?
You know, the Caribbean World Series just ended yesterday, so I had that going on. But other than that, not much. Just kind of getting ready for baseball. World Baseball Classic will be the next obscure thing.
Nice. Okay, we're going to get to your picks in a second here. I also want to welcome in David Hill. I fawned all over Rob Pizzola's podcast, but David Hill does audio documentaries, okay, with Gamblers series for The Ringer that are absolute ear butter. Like they just melt in your ear. So welcome aboard, Dave. David's been doing picks for the New York Times. Okay, we got a New York Times reporter in the room right now. That's how big time we are. Welcome in, David. How are you?
I like to say that I'm the biggest tout in America because we have 9.5 million subscribers. So nobody can come close to that, I think, in terms of paying for picks.
Maybe. I don't know. Vegas Dave apparently says he does. But, David, 1 year ago, you were the Rufus Peabody chauffeur.
Yep.
And you look at you now. So what were you 1 year ago? What were you doing for Rufus?
I was driving his car so that he could use his computer while we drove out into the middle of bumfuck nowhere, Arizona, to make bets on the phone. I called it the Arizona Sports Book. It's just like a parking lot at a truck stop in the middle of nowhere. And what's so funny is the whole time we were there, people kept showing up and parking and making bets. I think at one point we even saw somebody with like a DraftKings t-shirt on showed up and was making bets. So it's like only thing that's going on there is people buying snacks and making bets.
That's great. And I just realized that we have two of your subjects from the Gamblers podcast. Andrew Nemi
right.
was one of your subjects on an episode. Yeah, you're on either side there. It's David Hill for the block, and Gina Fiore, who was on earlier, she was another subject.
Yep.
So, give me a call. We can, you can profile me sometime. It's cool. All right, so let's
season 3, Jack. Season 3.
Okay, sounds good. I don't know what you're
We'll
going
get
to
you,
talk about.
Peter, Rob, Rob, and Andy, and Jason. We'll get all you guys in season 3.
There you go. You get your whole lineup. Let's do some picks. All right.
You're not going to introduce Rufus at all? Poor guy.
I was here early. So
I know, but
I was here in the first hour, and I was literally appearing from that very truck stop.
Oh, there you go.
With Zach in the car. So, I'm back from the truck stop now.
Yeah, I have a Casey's in Iowa. If anyone's been to the Midwest, it's the same thing where you go across the border.
You got Zach to drive this year?
I did.
You did.
I need more. My car keeps telling me I need more air pressure in the tires, but all the gas stations are apparently out of air. The person was telling me that people have been stealing the air. I didn't really follow up about that, but
we're shooting down UFOs and we're stealing air. So I don't know. This is end of days here. All right, Andrew Nemi, let's get your picks on the side or total. Who do you like?
Yeah, so I wasn't really planning on putting much of any money down, and then tuned into this show, and I heard this whale capper guy going off about the Chiefs, and he, as you mentioned, he dropped that line about the next Mayweather McGregor sort of situation, and so I don't know if this guy's just good at marketing or what's the story here. And then, on down the line at that point on the list, pretty much everyone was still on that side at that point. So I do have a very small wager versus a friend on that side. So yeah, right. Chiefs money line. Okay. Definitely. I was very interested in putting a lot more money down now that before the green wave, I guess you were calling it, before that part of the show happened. So now it seems a little bit more evenly matched up. So yeah, not feeling super strong either way, but yeah, I guess I'll fire at the Chiefs money line. Okay. Yeah. Chiefs money line. Look, Drew made a tremendous case for it. He had me rethinking my wagers. But then Rob came in and he gave a pretty tremendous case for the other side. Yeah. I'm still hung up on that whole Mayweather McGregor line. How dare he invoke the Mayweather McGregor? Yeah. I mean, in the poker world, it's interesting because there are the occasional instances where something like that comes along and then they fire pretty heavy. They're able to spot these things. They're pretty happy to bet on a wide range of things all the time. There's lots of credit card roulette happening in the poker world all the time. But when it comes to like getting heavy money down on certain events, there are these occasional instances, and that boxing match was definitely one of them. There's the occasional presidential election thing that goes on that poker players like to get a lot of money down on. So yeah, when Drew mentioned that one, it definitely piqued my interest. But yeah, interesting to see you guys kind of pick it apart a little bit. Yeah, no, I it's tough for me to pick it apart. I'll give them that. How about your prop play? Yeah, so it's kind of funny. I was looking through the props just before coming on the show, and actually there was like a different Rihanna bet than the one that was mentioned. It was like the list of like what's going to happen first, whether it's pyrotechnics get used, or a cover song, or an umbrella prop, or a football prop, or a wardrobe malfunction. The wardrobe malfunction was the longest odds. So I went with the pyrotechnics on that one. The other ones seem a little bit too out there for me. Again, this is not exactly sharp information here. But then, yeah, Gina brought in the interesting information, and I was able to hop on there pretty quick for plus 1,400 on the pink color before they took it completely off the board. So I'm tailing Gina on that one as well. What line did you get on those pyrotechnics used first? For that one, I think it's minus 100 or 150. I can't remember. I think it's minus 150. Okay, that seems pretty likely that would start off with like a bang, right? That's what I was thinking. Yeah, it could be fire, it could be sparks. Who knows? So that's where I went. All right, nice, very nice. What are you doing for the game tomorrow, Andrew? Yeah, it's going to go to a buddy's house. Some fellow poker players here in Vegas, getting together, doing the squares thing, and just going over there to a buddy's house. Nice. All right, that sounds like a good plan. Hey, Rufus, I don't know if you caught this earlier. Gina came in with a prop play that pretty much wrecked the market because she gave a solid case on why Rihanna's primary outfit color will be pink, which was a bet you could make at Bet Online, and she got a 25-1.
They dropped it all the way down to under 10-1 before taking it completely off the board and throwing up their hands. So she pulled a Knish. She basically just wrecked a novelty prop market. It was very interesting.
I missed it.
Yeah. The chat was like lighting up as she was saying it. Like everybody's like, it's 1,500, 1,400. Okay.
Was that discussed, Jack? That there is a Knish novelty prop up?
Oh, I hope not.
No, there is. It was like Jalen Hurts second half passing versus Knish's supposed push-ups from when he did it. BetOnline ended up hanging that for him. God bless his heart. Those weren't 130 push-ups. So.
No. That's what he claimed he did. But he
I
did
watched this. It was
he did like 4,
Yeah.
like 4 push-ups, right? After putting Bales next to Knish back to back was like,
Bales did
hard to
push-ups,
watch.
but I got to run. I just want to say thanks for having me. Love you guys. I'll watch.
Thank you, Andy.
Probably watch this in the car, but
Bye, Andy.
I got a gal that's going to take me home here.
All right.
So
have a good night. Have a good Super Bowl. Hey, Jason Weingarten, thank you for waiting there. We just see your head, nothing more.
What's up? I usually stand up when I'm doing podcasts, but I figured this was gonna be a while. I just didn't want to stand up.
We are a little slow. We are running a little bit behind time here, but go ahead and give us your plays for the side or total you like, as well as the prop play that you like.
Can I do first half under 24.5 minus 115 for the side total? Just gonna do the first half under. See what
I think you did that last year. You did a first half play.
Yeah, running it back. It pushed last year.
Okay. And what do you like on as a prop? It's gonna. I know it's gonna be a long shot.
That's my bet there. You want some props?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? You want a prop?
Yeah. Go, hit us with your prop. I know it's going to be a long shot.
No, not actually a long shot. I haven't bet that much this year. I like the over 2.5 players to throw a pass plus 115. You got two quarterbacks, not 100%. If you think that either one of these guys is injured, maybe we see some other quarterback, forced into taking snaps for an extended period of time or even for a series. If not, this is the Super Bowl. There's no reason to hide your trick plays for another week after tomorrow. So, any sort of option pass or, any sort of trick play, it's time to use it. I think over 2.5 players to throw a pass is a good bet. If there was an over 3.5 players to throw a pass, I would bet that.
Interesting. Okay. Patrick Everson was on earlier, and he bet the over 2.5 to complete a pass at plus 180. And so you're doing over 2.5 to attempt a pass plus 115. I like it.
Yeah, maybe it's a fake punt, fake kick, fake something. There's so many ways that a third guy can throw a pass in this game. Jerick McKinnon, he was an option quarterback in college. I'd love to see the Chiefs do a trick play with him. Especially if you think Mahomes isn't mobile tomorrow, he can't run around in the pocket. You're gonna have to do some things and scheme some things to get the ball out of his hand quickly. And that means trick plays. Maybe like I said, Jerick McKinnon. I just like to see chaos in the Super Bowl. I hope we get a good game either way.
Jason just likes to see chaos.
Both teams have fun. Yes.
Yeah, I hope both teams have fun tomorrow. It's gonna be a fun 3-4 hours for everybody.
Yeah.
Except
all right, we're
the
gonna
people with all the money on it.
Right. Yeah. We're gonna get David Hill's picks, and Rufus, I want to just warn you. There was something that came up earlier tonight. We're gonna run by you about first quarter total versus birdies in the final
Waste
round
management.
of waste management. Okay, but we'll get back to that in a second. Let me get to David Hill. Sir, what do you like as a side or total as well as a prop play in this game?
Well, I like the Chiefs plus 1.5. And I'm not going to make a big long case for it because this show's been going on for about 3.5 hours now. So that's my pick. I like under 50.5, if that's still where the number is at this late hour. And my prop is a goofy one. I'm going to go with Sky Moore anytime touchdown. I'm ready for Sky to complete the redemptive arc in the Super Bowl and get in the end zone. I think I got plus 900 on that.
Okay. Well, look, we are all about the long shots on this broadcast this year. This is pretty amazing. It's been, Tom, we didn't get you and I didn't, I assumed we would do our prop plays when we kind of had a lull. We didn't have any lulls here. This was like 3.5 hours of drinking from the fire hose. So, Rufus, I wanted to loop back to you for a second. So there was, I can't even remember who. Oh, Ben Carey. Ben Carey brought it up. Tom, do you remember which side he liked out of it? He liked the birdies. No, less birdies. He liked first quarter total higher than number of birdies in tomorrow's final round of the Waste Management Open. And the reason he did
on hole 16, right?
Was it hole 16? Is that a prop that you've seen?
Said here. Yeah,
I think it's on Caesars. Oh, did somebody put it in the? Yeah, there we go. I'll put it up on the screen. First quarter total points plus 1.5 versus fourth round birdies on hole 16.
I'm pulling up the. Let's see. I'm pulling up the hole locations, the pin sheet for tomorrow to see where they have it on 16.
Hey, Jack, while Rufus pulls that up, I noticed someone in the chat asking you if the log's available to look at. Want me to just drop a link in there?
Well, you'll need to set a. I'll do it. Set a read only on it and all that. I'll do it. I'll put it in there.
So to be honest, I don't have a lot of insight here. Like I feel like somebody that
Rufus, it's that front left location. It's the
it looks like it's back left.
Isn't it the front?
Back
I'm
behind that bunker. It looks so. I mean, I could look and see what the number of birdies were today. But to be honest, I feel like it's a little tough for me to analyze. Just as someone that is a golfer but not a professional golfer, knowing and has not played that course, knowing how tough that particular pin location is.
Ben also mentioned there's a higher wind tomorrow, right? But would that come to play on that stadium hole?
There's a what tomorrow?
A higher wind. There's like a 16-mile-an-hour wind.
And, well, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw, but in round 2, Scheffler hit a shot that looked like it was going to stop right. It basically stopped right by the flag, and then there was wind gusts that blew it like off the green. So I think with all the stands, you can get kind of a wind tunnel effect going a little bit.
Okay.
But Tom just told me there were 12 birdies there today. I don't even know where I didn't watch any of the coverage, so I don't know where the pin location.
I made a mistake. I had the round 3 pin locations.
So today was front left?
Yeah.
Which that's tucked behind some bunkers too.
Yeah. Balls were funneling that direction just watching on the broadcast, and I believe that's the hole in one I'm thinking about.
The back left?
Pin. No, the front left.
The front left, okay. So probably a little tougher, I would guess.
Okay. All right.
I honestly couldn't tell you anything intelligent about what's the right side there.
And the only reason I wanted to run it by you is because you had mentioned on, I think it was on Rob's podcast the other day, that, comparing to a final round score is pretty boring because there's a short range there, but something more like birdies would be more, solvable. So I just wasn't sure if you had any. Anyway.
All right.
Rufus, how did it go in Arizona? Did you expend all the money from your FanDuel account?
I didn't. I tried very hard to, but I couldn't.
Okay.
With the increments I could bet in, it was not possible to run through $99,000. I got through like 60 of it, or 70 of it, or something like that.
It was like Brewster's Millions at a truck stop in Arizona.
I wasn't going to take like Hertz under 48.5 rush yards either, when I'm going to be getting at like under 55.5 for a kickoff probably.
How much of your betting do you still have to do tomorrow?
Oh, over 50%, easy.
Wow.
We are ready to go with quite a lot of cash being ready to be deployed. It's just, I'll tell you, it's an interesting logistical situation of trying to figure out who has how much cash, how much to put in what apps, just because we're trying to forecast where we're going to want that money. And it's going to be really hard to move it around tomorrow with all the lines that you're going to have. So we got to make it like, this is the real betting right now. Betting on where you want that liquidity to be.
So at any point tomorrow, do you ever say to one of your teammates when you need to get money from them logistically, bitch, better have my money? No? All right. I don't know. It's been 3.5 hours. Hey, Tom.
You say give the journalist 20 grand and tell him to meet me at the MG.
Basically, we're understaffed this year without David.
Yeah.
So that's a good question, David. You have been a runner, well, a partner for both Rufus and Spanky. That's a pretty. I think it's a group of one. I don't know anyone else who's ever done bets for both of them. Impressive.
Yeah, I carried backpacks for both of you. I had a lot more. Spanky gave me a lot more money, but I was honored to carry money for both these guys. Yeah.
Very interesting. Tom, you've sat there. You've sat there through this whole thing, and we haven't asked you for your pick. So go ahead, lay it on us.
Well, I'm a little upset with Rob because I thought that I was going to be the one to be able to pull out the Golden Knights Anaheim Ducks cross sport play here. And I felt all good about myself through the entire show. And he's one of the last guys to come in. I love Rob's pick. I think it's now down at DraftKings if the chat is to be believed.
It's been pulled. Yeah, unfortunately. Yes.
Westgate still has the one that I was looking at, which is Golden Knights team total versus number of field goals in the game. And the Knights team total is shaded by half, minus 130. But all of a sudden, post All-Star break, this team has been putting up the goals again. And the Anaheim Ducks are bad, as Rob pointed out. Good potential for the Golden Knights to get at least 4 or 5 in this game. I don't think we see more than 3 field goals, especially with the propensity of these coaches, but I am not Rufus here. I do not have the advanced analytics to back it up. The other one that I wanted to go with was Chiefs to record the first sack, but I couldn't find it better than plus 105, and I was really hoping to get around plus 115 on it. But that one we talked about on the Thursday show a little more, I think.
What was the line on that VGK team total?
Minus 130.
All right, that's the one we're going with for you. You got to pick a side or total here as well.
I have Kansas City. I have Kansas City plus 2.5, but I'll take Kansas City money line as my pick.
Okay, we'll give you 105 on that. I'll go ahead and put my play in here as well. I hate to do it, but I got to play a little bit of part of a homer here in South Jersey, so I'm going to have to type as I say this. I'm going to go with the Eagles. Minus 2.5 plus 111, I believe, is what the line is at Sport Trade here in New Jersey. So I'm going to put that down. Eagles minus 2.5 plus 111. And then for my prop, just like Tom, my prop got taken in the broadcast by Elihu, who was one of the first people. And it was for the game not to land on exactly 7. And my numbers agreed with Elihu, that's actually comforting as well. So I have minus 750, and it should be minus 900 or so. So I'm going to go against the grain here of all these long shot props, and I'll play one that's more of a bridge jumper. I'll put that in the chat here. Game not to land on 7. I'll clean that up. Anyway. All right. Well, it's been 3.5 hours, and I have no more guests waiting in the green room. There were a few that didn't show up, but there were a few that showed up. So, it worked out. I think we had like 38 people come through, which I think is, I'm going to call it a world record for a live stream for SuperStream. I want to thank all of my guests, too many to mention. You can find the link to the Google document with all of these plays. It'll be in the description of this video as well. It's already in the chat field. And I think that's going to... Oh, what, Tom? Go ahead.
Just a heads up. I know you asked me before to tabulate up where we are officially leaning for the game. I have the official results for you here. We have 14 Kansas City money line picks, 7 Kansas City spread picks, 3 of which are alternate spreads. For Philly, 10 money line and just 2 spread here.
Okay, so it's like 21-12 there. And then 3 on the totals, right? Or 4 with the first half total from Okay. All right. Sounds good. Yeah, we'll see how these all do, and I'll grade this spreadsheet after the game tomorrow night. Hey, if you like this video, I mean, you can like it, you can subscribe, whatever you want. This wasn't meant to be done for any kind of clicks or anything. This was just a bunch of people all getting on a live stream, giving picks, having a good time, hanging out. People you don't see interact with each other too often. That's why we did it. You don't need to like or subscribe or any of that. But if you do, hey, all the better. We like to put out content that people want to see. So that's going to do it for me. I appreciate everyone hanging in there. We had over 200 people constantly throughout the night on YouTube. And I don't know how many on Twitter. We'll have to check those analytics later. But it was a great time. Thank you all for joining me, and good night. Enjoy the Super Bowl tomorrow.
Good luck.